Welcome to the Dr. Greg Show on September 25th, 2025. Thanks for being here. Sorry to start the YouTube stream, guys. Awesome, guys. I'm so happy that we had a vaccine party already. I forgot to start it. Sorry, my apologies, YouTube. But we got some. Boom, 367, ladies and gentlemen. All right, pretty cool. I was gonna try to check out some nature news, see what happened in the science space that we could talk about. Ooh, this is interesting. Huntington disease was the first was treated for the first time with gene therapy. Pretty cool, guys. That is amazing. That was something that was previously incapable of being treated. So that's actually a huge deal to be able to do that. So let's go here, 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 kaboom, kaboom, this. Here we go. Huntington's disease treated for the first time using gene therapy. Preliminary results from a small trial offer the clearest evidence yet that the brain disease progressions can be slowed. I know, Marissa. Wouldn't that be amazing? A Parkinson's tool would be great too. Yeah, I know, Squash. Isn't that amazing? That's why we should invest into it, isn't it? A one-time gene therapy can markedly slow the progression of Huntington's disease, potentially paving the way for the first ever treatment to alter the course of this rare inherited brain disorder. In a small trial of 29 people who were in the early stages of Huntington's related decline, participants who received a high dose of therapy directly into their brain saw the disease slow by 75% over 3 years, compared to those with the control group. The benefit was statistically significant across several clinical measures, according to the data released this week by Unicure, a gene therapy company based in Amsterdam. Trial investigators also observed a reduction in the level of toxic protein linked to neurodegeneration in the spinal fluid of people who received the therapy. On the strength of these findings, Unicure executives said that they plan to seek regulatory approval for the next step forward. This gene therapy is obviously a big step forward, says Sandra Kost, a neurologist at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center in Columbus, who was involved in the trial. The data looks quite good. Slowing the disease's advance could translate into many extra years of independence for people with Huntington's, Kost says, but it is not a cure. And with so few participants, the trial's results, still unpublished, should be viewed as preliminary, she adds. I think we need more time and more data. How cool, though. How cool that they can actually make a difference on those people. Huntington's is a really rough one. And it can be a pretty bad disease. People living with Huntington's disease typically see their symptoms progress year by year, usually starting between the ages of 35 and 55. What often begins as a subtle loss of coordination or forgetfulness, then often progresses to involuntary movements, sharp mood swings, and gradual unraveling of memory and thought. The disease is caused by an excessive DNA repeats in a gene called Huntington, which leads to the production of faulty protein that slowly poisons the brain. Oh. Interesting. Oh, it's okay. So there must be, it's knocking out Huntington, which then leads to the production of a faulty protein. Okay. So it must be, okay, inhibiting that other thing. And now it's not able to do that. There are currently no therapies that address this root cause. So those who inherit the mutation left only with the drugs to ease the symptoms. Some of the first attempts to develop a treatment focused on antisense therapy, a gene-targeted strategy that uses short strands of DNA or RNA to dial down production of the defective Huntington protein. Oh, wow. It has a bunch of repeats and it's still being made? That's interesting. Hi, Megan. How's it going? Yes. All right, Megan. Nice. Let's go. All right, Megan. Good job. So that's 4 right there. So that's 71. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Yes. Good job. Good job, Megan. Appreciate you. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Hi, Ducray. How's it going? I know, Ducray. Isn't it crazy? I have cancer, so I need to get both flu and COVID-19. The COVID-19 will be May 4th. Nice. Okay, Chuck. Good idea, man. Try to see if you can get the MMR booster too. If you haven't got it since you're a kiddo, it's probably a good idea to get a little another boost. What about Klippel-Feil syndrome that also affects the heart's kidneys and liver? Okay, let's check that out, Lexi, after this. Back to the article. The approach showed promise in clinical early development, but hopes diminished in 2021 after a leading candidate failed in late stage testing, with those receiving the therapy seeming to fare worse than those that were given the placebo. See, guys, not everything goes through. Everyone wants to talk like you just have a disease. There's like a need. There's a profit to be made. You don't always make it. It doesn't always go through. It fails a lot. Some of the first attempts to develop a treatment focused on antisense therapy. Oh, sorry, we were reading that. This clinical setback redirected attention towards a different gene strategy, gene therapy, which aims to provide a one-time intervention that permanently silences or modifies the deficient gene at its source. Very cool. I need to figure out what I'm going to do for paywalls on. I think I might just pay for the science.org subscription. So, okay. Klippel-Feil. We're going to go to that. We're going to go to Google Scholar, go to there, gene therapy, Klippel-Feil syndrome, clinical features and current understandings of etiology. That's in 2004, though. What about something newer since 2021? Looking for highly cited stuff here. Can't find it here. Here we go. At the top. Pathogenesis, diagnosis, and management in 2021. Well, I was reading just like some science news to get us going, and then Lexi wants to know about Klippel-Feil syndrome, so that's what we're reading right now. Klippel-Feil syndrome, or a congenital fusion of the cervical vertebrae, has been thought to be an extremely rare diagnosis. However, recent literature suggests an increased prevalence with a high proportion of asymptomatic individuals. Wow. How could you be asymptomatic for a fusion of a cervical vertebra? Wow. Occurring as a sporadic mutation or associated with several genes, the pathogenesis involves failure of the cervical somite segmentation and differentiation during embryogenesis. Okay, so I wonder if that doesn't happen if all the people with mutations. I don't understand how that happens. Most commonly, the C2, C3, and the C5, C6 levels are involved. KFS is associated with other orthopedic conditions, including the Sprengel deformity, congenital scoliosis, and cervical spine abnormalities, as well as several visceral pathologies. There are several classification systems, some based on the anatomic levels of fusion and others on its genetic inheritance. Management of patients with KFS primarily involves observations for asymptomatic individuals. Surgical treatment may be for neurological complaints, correction of the deformity, or concomitant spinal anomalies, or for associated conditions and varies significantly. Participation in sports is an important consideration. Oh, interesting. That makes sense, though. Or anything spinal related. Recommendations for contact sports or activities depend on both the level and the number of vertebrae involved in the fusion. A multidisciplinary team should be involved in the treatment plan and recommendations for complex presentations. Oh, wow. Okay, Lexi, sorry to hear about that. Your neck vertebra broke at 34. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be a tough one. I'm sorry for your accident. Um, yeah, that would probably. I mean, the most readily available treatments would probably be, um, something that could help, um, the mutation. Oh, I'm sorry, Lexi. I'm sorry to hear about that. Dingle, we're just talking about Whipple-Feel syndrome treatments and diagnoses and stuff. I'm sorry to hear about that, Lexi. All right, guys, let's do this. Empty. If anyone wants to join or wants to talk, let me know. Are vax safe if you don't have a large intestine, aka part of your immune system, and a biologic reaction? I would think so. Yeah. I mean, you're not like your gut microbiome plays an important role in the immune system, so I would think that it would almost be even more important because you have the ability to have the antibodies now in higher production. I think that it would be more important. I'm not 100% though. I'm not a physician. I'm a scientist doctor. I have uva ursa for my kidneys and hawthorn berries for my heart. Okay. Hi, Dark Horse. How's it going? All right, guys. What else is going on in the world of science? Oh, nice. Ooh. Mini placentas and ovaries revealing the basics of women's health. Lab-grown organoids that mimic reproductive tissues could point to treatments for common conditions such as preeclampsia and endometriosis. That's cool. Whoa, those are really cool. Oh, wow. That's a big one. Okay, cool. Let's keep reading. Just going to read a couple of these until someone comes. And, yeah. Okay. And then I wanted to go through the, oh, I have no idea, Joe. I'm not a physician. The mini placenta lab grown. Oh, we just read that. In 2017, Ashley Beaufort, a reproduction immunologist, walked to the pharmacy near her laboratory at the University of Cambridge, UK, to buy a pregnancy test. But it wasn't for Moffat. Her postdoc, Margarita Turcoy, had created what she thought might be the first clusters of cells capable of mimicking the tissues of a placenta, a placental organoid, but she needed a way to be sure. We must do a pregnancy test on them, Moffat said. That's interesting. Oh, thank you. If Turco was correct, the miniature balls a cell she had created would secrete HCG, the hormones that trigger a positive pregnancy test. Yeah. I took the stick, put it in, and it was positive. Oh, that's so cool. That's such an easy test. That's genius. That's so good. Now, a reproductive biologist at the Friedrich Meister Institute for Biomedical Research in Basel, Switzerland, it was the best celebration. Those are crazy. Those moments in science where you actually have those breakthrough moments and you're the only person in the world that knows about it. It is crazy. It is really fun. Scientists have make organoids such by coaxing stem cells to grow in a jelly-like substance and to self-assemble into clumps of tissues. The typically hollow or solid balls of cells don't look anything like real organs, but they do take on key aspects of the organ that they're meant to represent: liver, brain, lung, or stomach, for instance. The many organs have the advantage of being more realistic than a 2D cell culture, the conventional in vitro workhorses, because they behave more like tissue. The cells divide, differentiate, communicate, respond to their environment, and just like the real organ, die. But because they contain human cells, they can be more representative than many animal models. Animals are good models in generalities, but they start to fall down in particulars, says Linda Griffith, a biological engineer at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Cambridge. Over the last decade, organoid research has exploded. Researchers have used them to study early brain development, test cancer therapies, and much more. And these 3D models stand to become even more crucial as U.S. agencies, including the National Institutes of Health, the FDA, and the EPA, aim to move away from animal testing. It's true, guys. It's really hard to do animal testing right now. Hi, Alaya. How's it going? Thank you. You too. Now, researchers are using organoids to study female reproduction, an area of which animal models can be especially limited. Lab mice, for example, don't menstruate. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. And their placentas don't develop in the same way as human placentas do. That challenge, along with historical lack of funding for women's health research, has left basic questions unanswered. I really see it as a powerful model to do science, says Kessler, a cell biologist at the Maxington University in Munich, Germany, who has developed an organoid that mimics the fallopian tube and a biobank of ovarian cancer organoids. Organoids of the placenta, endometrium, ovary, and vagina could help to reveal how the organs function and what happens when these things go awry. There's so much work to do in understanding just normal biology, Turco says. It is, Melissa. It's very under researched. Cows gave us the first vaccines. Milk makers didn't catch. Yeah, you're right, Jesus. Yeah, smallpox was 1796, right? Zarth. I mean, I think it's good in the idea that we could have more people with health tracking wearables. I think that's okay. I think it's weird that like the government is behind it. It's kind of like that's a little weird for me. Hi, Jordan. How's it going? Oh, wow, Karen. And dang. The placenta invades. The placenta plays a key part in the maternal health during pregnancy. Humans aren't the only species that develop a placenta, but the human placenta is quite different than most other species, even primates actually, apart from apes. Interesting. Mice and humans, for example, both have placentas that invade the uterine lining, but the timing of development and the depth of the invasion differ. We were learning about this, the different types of placentas the other week. That's cool. Exactly what happens during the early days of the placenta development is still unclear, but problems at this stage can be serious consequences later. Wow, how do we not know that? This isn't a study. We're just reading this is just a news thing. We're talking about um, basically them developing organoids and stuff that can help mini placentas and ovaries that can mimic these tissues that can help with research. So it's not a study. It's like a news article on Nature.com. Hi, Dr. T. How's it going? Now, Nature is one of the premier journals in the world. So they're out of the UK. Science Mag is out of the US. They're the other premier one. It's called CNS, Cell, Nature, Science. Those are like the big three. Oh wow, Jordan. One of the placenta's first jobs is to create a link between the mother and the developing embryo. To do this, the placenta invades the spiral arteries that feed the uterus. The invasive cells open up the arteries, essentially making a channel so that mom can provide what she needs through her blood supply. Wow, says Victoria Roberts, a developmental biologist at the Oregon National Primate Research Center in Bevington. Nature recognizes that transgender men and non binary people might have female reproductive organs and might become pregnant. Mother is used in this article to reflect language used by the field. Okay, Roger. The process can be deadly if it goes wrong. If the placenta invades too deeply, a condition called placenta excreta, the expectant mother can lose too much blood during birth. And if the organ doesn't invade deeply enough, then the fetus might not get enough nutrients to sustain its growth. Whoa. This looks so cool. Okay, sure. Oh, that's right, Jordan. That's right. Okay, cool. Let's do this.
Hey,
Hi, Kelly G. How's it going?
good, how are you?
Good.
No, I just wanted to hear your take on Israel. I'm curious because I know you said you wrote on your thing that you talk about politics.
Okay. What's your question?
No, I wanted to know your take on it because I appreciate your views usually, but I just never heard the topic on your page. Maybe I don't know if you've spoken about it and I just wasn't here, but
I mean, it's a sovereign nation, and it's there. I think that
no,
it's.
not on them. I mean the whole war that's going on and I know it's a very controversial topic. I feel, especially in not just debates, but also just opinions. I feel like it differs a lot between people, no matter their views on other things.
I mean, I think what they're doing in Gaza right now is way too heavy-handed, and they needed to have targeted the Hamas leadership a lot more directly, and not kind of lay waste to the entire place. And I think Bibi is way too heavy-handed, and it's verging on war crimes right now. I think it's awful. But I think that calls that Israel shouldn't be a country, or that it needs to be taken over, or I think that's I don't recognize that. I think that 1947 I recognize their independence and they're a sovereign nation, and it just is what it is. So I appreciate, and I think that a three-state solution, I actually like that the best, where Jerusalem is a third party, kind of dictated by the UN. That's what the 47 UN charter kind of figured it out. But yeah, I think that they deserve the Palestinians deserve their own nation, and Israel deserves their own nation too.
So no, first off with the first part, the heavy-handed part, I disagree because I feel that they're being very actually targeted with what they're doing right now, even though it might not seem that way. The Hamas leadership has strategically placed themselves in so many different civilian areas that, as much as people might say that because they're doing that, Israel should let it go in certain cases, they don't realize that Hamas won't stop. I'm not talking about the people of Gaza, I'm talking about specifically Hamas won't stop until Israel's wiped off the map. And it's clear as day that that's their goal. And if even a small amount of them are still existing after this war, they will come up with more and more and more and train people and do it all over again, because it's been shown countless times in history with all of these groups. So
yeah, but the leadership of Hamas isn't in Gaza. So they're in Jordan, they're in other places. So it doesn't make any the people that perpetuated this aren't they're impacting way more people than who perpetuated October 7th.
No, but I'm saying the people of Hamas that are in Israel currently,
Mhm.
I mean that are in Gaza currently, are just because they're not considered the top leadership, they're still fighters that have one goal, and if they're still existing, then they're still a threat. And there's also so many countless people that support them. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that everybody supports them, but there's so many people that support them that if they didn't have enough soldiers, they would join eventually.
Yeah, but
That's
you
how
can't
it's worked in
just
the past.
you can't just punish like someone just for having a thought. That's like thought crime,
What are you talking
right?
about?
So
We didn't
yeah,
punish anyone for having a thought.
that's unhinged. You can't punish people for having a
What's
thought. I mean, like,
what's
a
unhinged?
support having a support for something is a lot different than
No, I'm
like
not telling you
actually.
to punish them. Not at all.
Well,
I'm
you
saying,
are. I mean,
no,
by supporting the decimation of all of Gaza for like
I
this.
don't support it. It's
Okay, so
not.
then how
I
would
don't
you?
support
Okay, then what would you have done in response to October 7th?
exactly what Israel's doing at the moment.
Okay, I think it's way. I think
If,
I supported them like going in and trying to find out who was responsible for October 7th. But everyone deserves freedom and liberty in their life, and I wouldn't say that anyone in Gaza right now feels that way. So it's
what
just
would
not
I
fair to them.
understand? I understand. I'm not disagreeing with that part. I'm trying to explain to you that. What do you think? I'm going to ask you. What do you think would happen if Israel stopped right now?
What would they stop? Well, they don't have like any resources or anything in order to like mount an attack. I understand what you're
Listen,
trying to say, and the fact that that they want to erase Israel from the map and they don't
they
accept
will
Israel
strike
as a
again. It's not
country.
a question. It's not a
Yeah,
question. They
yeah,
will
and
do it again.
yeah, I know, and they strike at um Israel's like civilian centers, and I totally get what you're saying, but at the same time, like they're for so long now, almost 2 years now, just been so heavy handed. I don't think that it's excusable. I like
But do
what
you
they
know why
did.
it
They're
took so
going after.
long? Do you know why it took so long? If Israel just wanted to wipe out Gaza, if that was their goal, they could have just bombed them from the beginning.
Yeah,
They had that option. They purposely didn't do it. They're taking a really long time because it's very hard to find the people of Hamas in Gaza. They don't just say wear uniforms that show them that they're Hamas. It takes a lot of strategy and intelligence. So what if Israel stopped right now and they did nothing? They would wipe Israel off the map. Whether it's in the next 5 years, whether it's in the next 20 years, they will do it.
I
And
don't think
everyone
that
says
there's anything in Gaza that amounts to a military that's big enough in order to take
it's
out
not. It's
Israel. I
less
mean,
about the.
that's crazy.
It's
I
less
don't think
about the
that.
military. It's more about the fact that Hamas has zero conscience. They will brutally murder every single Jew they see. Israel, we know that the people of Gaza, a lot of them are innocent, and it's very unfortunate what's going on. And I don't think that it's even a debate to say that it's very unfortunate, and everyone has sympathy for them 100%. But at the same time, if it's not only about what happened since October 7th. Every single time Israel wanted peace with I don't want to say the Palestinian people, more Hamas and the groups that are affiliated with Hamas. And every single time they tried to have a peace timing with them, it never worked. They always started to fire at them. It always comes back, whether it's after they fuel up after 9 months, however long it takes, they always start again. And Israel's fed up. Israel is not going to let what happened to their people on October 7th ever happen again. And if they don't wipe out Hamas right now, it will happen again. So
Okay, so then what's the end goal?
the end goal is to get rid of Hamas and take back the hostages.
Okay, so
They're
where's
not
Hamas?
trying to. They're finding them as we speak.
Okay,
That's
so
what they're
then
trying to do
what
for the
is
last
like
year.
what's your like okay, now we can like what stage needs to happen for you to be okay that the IDF like comes back, allows them to kind of like live back, and then Israel has to help rebuild like Gaza,
So
obviously, right?
we wait. Hold on. So
Yeah.
right now we agree that Hamas is the problem, correct?
I think that Hamas is a terrorist organization.
They're the problem. So if they get rid of Hamas, the entire conflict kind of goes away because the whole thing when people are saying they're starving the people of Gaza, they're not starving the people of Gaza. They're sending aid. Gaza's not allowing it to go to Hamas is not allowing it to go to their people. They don't care about their people. They have zero, like, the fact that they're putting themselves where they are in the middle of the civilian people is a clear stating of that they don't care about their people.
I mean,
So
you had like an argument, like maybe see, this is why Netanyahu like makes your argument harder to make, because he created a scarcity and mass starvation by decreasing the amount of available food locations from like 30 down to 4, and he made it surrounding all of these like military encroachments, so people were getting like people are getting shot at because of it. It's like he like that's what this has all been about. That's what happened. They've decreased the amount of the aid available from like 40 different spots to 3 or 4. Yeah.
Spots, but he decreased the aid.
Well, that's the whole point, is that he decreased it so they had to walk long distances and it was harder for them to get. And when they had to go through, they had to go through military places so that they were getting harassed. That's the whole point.
You have to realize that Netanyahu is not only trying to help the people of Gaza, but he's trying to also save the lives of his own people. And there are certain spots where it's extremely dangerous for Israeli soldiers to be in order to give aid to the people of Gaza. They do want to give it to them, but to sacrifice your own soldiers' lives in order to help the people you're in war with a little bit. It's not like he's not giving them aid. He is. People are saying that he's not giving them aid. He is. He's just not. He's trying to put his own Israeli soldiers in the least vulnerable spot that he possibly can, and that's what he's trying to do. But people are saying, go do it anyways and let your soldiers be killed. Like, how does that make any sense?
They're not being killed. They don't have arms. They don't have, like, Hamas isn't mounting an offense against these people anymore.
Very dangerous.
No, they're not. No, they're not. No, this is the thing, is that you had an argument like a year and a half maybe but now they've like leveled so much of it, and they've decimated so much that Hamas isn't. No, they're not. Hamas isn't mounting a huge thing. Like the IDF is fighting Hezbollah in the north. They're like reclaiming ground. They're like, they're not fighting for their lives inside of Gaza anymore. The IDF is not scared or.
Of course, do you know why they're still in?
No, they're not. No, you just said that they have the military capability in order to actually like lay waste the entire place. Obviously, I agree. They have like
that's easy.
Tons. Yes, of course. So you think that they're afraid of people with? Yes, it does. Yes, they're technological.
The bombing the whole place has nothing to do with the military. That has to do with their military. That has to do with the things that they have, the military things that they have, not their people. That has to do with the bombs they have, not their people and their rockets. It has nothing to do with the military.
No, they're bombing. No, they bomb Israel's cities. They don't bomb the that's how they do a lot of their damage. They're not bombing the IDF
cities?
Huh? No.
You're saying Israeli cities.
Hamas bombs Israel's civilian core. That's how they do most of their damage. They're not mounting attacks against IDF soldiers.
They came into Israel by foot and killed 1,300 civilians.
This is we're talking about October 7th, 2023. We're talking about right now. Like, what I'm talking about is what your argument falls apart in the last year and a half with how the IDF has waged war against them and what BB has done. I'm sorry, but like they're obviously, the IDF is not scared for their life, going into these places, because they go through there and they do nothing but like push these people around.
They're trying to retrieve their hostages and find Hamas officials that are underground and hiding in between civilians. You don't think that's scary?
I think, yes, absolutely. They should release the hostages, and Hamas doesn't want to release the hostages because they know that the power that they have is going to be done instantly with that, obviously.
Exactly. So they still are there. So why are you making like there's no Hamas officials left to be afraid of?
The Hamas officials aren't in Gaza.
Says who?
They're not. What are you talking about? They're in Qatar.
The fighters. I'm not talking only about the officials. I'm talking about the fighters. The people of Hamas that are fighting.
Yeah, and guess what? They go after the leadership. The last 6 months, Bibi's been going and taking out the leadership of Hamas. They're not going for like the fighters.
Of course they're going for the fighters as well.
Dude,
It's both.
no, exactly. This is what I'm talking about, dude. You like Bibi's own actions make your job impossible, your argument impossible to make.
I don't understand. I'm saying that he's going against, right now he's trying to fight not only the Hamas officials, he's trying to fight the fighters of Hamas as well, who are still in Gaza. So they're still there. Of course, there's still a fear going into Gaza.
The problem
the fighters are still
the problem
there.
is there's no end game for you. Like that's the problem. Is that Bibi
What are you talking
and
about?
you that well you said that you have to eradicate everyone that agrees.
The Hamas, the people of Hamas. No, not everybody did agree. No, I never said that.
Yes, you did.
I never said that.
Okay.
No.
Okay? Then what's your end game then?
The end game is to get rid of Hamas and to get the hostages back. That's their end game. If the hostages were returned today and Hamas surrendered, the war would be over.
Yeah.
So how is this Israel's fault and not Hamas's fault? I'll never understand. How people aren't chanting to get rid of Hamas. Why are they chanting only about Israel?
I think that they should. I think that Hamas is bad. I think it's a net negative for people and the Palestinian people. I think it is. So but you don't get rid of them by laying waste and making it harder for the people, the civilians, in order to get aid. You only drive them further into the Hamas's hands.
They're not trying to not give civilians aid. Every time they try and give civilians aid, Hamas stops it, takes it for themselves, and barely gives any to their own people. Yes, they do.
Like, you can look at the pictures. These people are they're feeding them directly. They're not like Hamas isn't taking it. Again,
I have a question.
your argument,
you know where the sources are coming from?
Again, your argument is made, years ago. I think that you're right.
No, I'm
like
talking
3
about
or 4
today.
years ago, not today, not in the last year, not in the mass starvation that is happening right now. Again,
I'm talking about you. Wait, hold on. You agree with me that Hamas is bad. So why are you so surprised that they're the ones holding aid from their own people? If you know they don't care about their own people.
They have been doing that, and they were doing that between the second Intifada and like 2015, around there. But like not now, not in the last year.
They've been doing it in the last year.
No, they haven't.
Why
you can look at the pictures, and they're because they're giving out food. What Hamas does. What Hamas does is it siphons in the money and takes it for themselves. And you have selfish millionaires that live in Qatar that don't have any relation to people in Gaza and that are exploiting the people in Gaza for their own capital attainment, which is awful. These people in
I have a question.
Palestine are being used as political pawns by Hamas leadership, and they're
awful. The pictures that you're using to prove your point that Hamas is not taking food from them is from where? Is it from Hamas? These pictures, because they're definitely not from Israel. So where are they coming from?
It's from international media organizations.
No, it's coming from Hamas. You're not understanding that. They're lying.
It's not. No, it is not all Hamas propaganda. I'm sorry. It's just.
Who do you think is? Wait. Who do you think is giving those pictures? Do you think it's Israel? Who else is in there except Israel?
Independent media organizations that are in there
that are in Gaza
that aren't they aren't Hamas. I'm sorry,
but they're in Gaza, correct?
We're not talking about Hamas's health ministry and talking about their rates.
No. The pictures are coming from somebody in Gaza. The pictures are coming from somebody in Gaza. It's not Israel. And if you're telling me it's not Hamas, who is it? Who's in Gaza right now that's taking pictures of Hamas giving food to their own people? Who's taking pictures of that if it's not Hamas? Because it's definitely not the people of Gaza.
So you're agreeing that you don't even think that there's independent journalists that are allowed to be there then? You think that Israel is stopping international journalists from even being there and stuff?
Israel? It's Hamas. What are you talking about?
Hamas isn't stopping them from going into there and recording things.
I have a question. Do you know any independent journalist that would walk into Gaza right now in the middle of a war? It's nothing to do with letting people. Who would go in the middle of a war zone?
A lot of people. A lot of journalists.
People?
Yes.
A lot of people go into Gaza right now?
Yes. A lot of New York Times journalists, AP journalists, they go in there. Yes.
You think it's a New York Times journalist going into Gaza, or do you think there's pictures coming from inside being sent to them and them using it on their news channel?
Dude,
do you think it's?
I'm sorry. You're so. No. You're wrong. I mean, I'm sorry.
Why am I wrong? Why am I wrong?
The fact that you think that all journalists are all somehow anti-Semitic. And I agree with you that there is a bent on
It's not that I
like
think they're anti-Semitic. You're
just
misunderstanding.
can I just finish?
Here you go.
I do agree that there is a weird fascination that happens with Israel-Palestine when you have, 500,000 kids dying in Sudan that we don't even talk about. There's Libya and Syria that have had 1 million people die in their civil wars, and nobody talks about that. It is a weird fascination that happens with Israel-Palestine. But I do think that there's a huge amount of people that are really interested because of the United States' involvement in the Israel government and how much we fund that, even though it's 8% or something of the Israel, national defense. It's not like it's going to break the bank, but people do feel connected enough to it for that, so that media organizations do go out and search for this information. So to say it's just like a grand conspiracy, that there's no journalists that have any type of, journalistic integrity that are going in there, and it's all just Hamas propaganda, that's insane. I'm sorry.
There isn't New York Times people going into Gaza to take pictures right now. There aren't. I'm just going to say that from now.
What would change your mind?
Okay. Proof. But
What's
I don't know
proof?
how.
What is proof? What
I don't know how
say?
a straight up person who does not live there that states that they went in took a picture.
How would you know that the picture isn't from a Hamas soldier? Hamas source.
If a credible news source said that they got the picture themselves, it's a very different story than if they just post the picture and say they got it from a source that sent it to them. It's a very different situation.
I don't think that's happening the entire time. I mean, maybe a couple times. I agree that Hamas creates propaganda, and it does happen.
Wait, hold on. The pictures you're saying are expressing that Hamas is giving aid to its people?
You can see there's maps that the New York Times has done, mapping out all the ways and all the different points that they used to give out aid, and now that's only like 4 of them as opposed to 30 to 40 of them. I mean, it's just there's like tons of articles about this. It's not like.
But I'm just asking: are the articles and photos stating that Hamas is giving food to its own people?
No, it is primarily Israel. Yeah, of course.
It's saying that Hamas is giving aid to its own people. I'm asking the question.
I don't think that Hamas is like a huge functioning organization right now, and the fact that they're not able to have aid. I think that it's Israel's aid that they're trying to give out to people, and you have other places like the UAE and like coming through.
Wait, hold on. We could talk about the news section in a minute, but you think logically, after everything we know Hamas has done, you think they go out of their way to take the aid Israel gave and give it out to its people?
Hamas isn't taking the aid that Israel gives it and then giving it to them. The IDF goes there themselves and hands out the aid to the Palestinian people. It's not going through Hamas hands anymore. Again, you had the argument 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the second intifada and all that kind of stuff. Like you had that where you did have Hamas acting as an intermediary group that was funneling in all this international aid, and that they were doling it out and not giving it to themselves and enriching themselves and living in Qatar while they made millions off of the international aid going into Palestine. You're right, years ago, but now it's a different scenario. And I'm sorry, but like Bibi is not making your case good. He's not making it easy for you, and he's making people sympathetic to the existence of Israel and Israelis and the Jewish people, and it's making their life harder and harder.
I still don't understand the argument of the aid. I still don't understand. They're sending the aid.
Do you
What's
think
the problem?
Do you think that? Yeah, exactly. Israel is handing out the aid.
Is your problem that they're not going in to give it out as much anymore?
No, they purposely decreased the amount of of places that they were giving it out. They were used to give it out across the entire strip. There was like 40 different locations that people could go to.
Because in those places they weren't being used to its fullest potential. I don't think they were being berated. But why don't you believe that? Why do you believe the other things but you don't believe that? Because Israel said it?
No, because there's like a ton of people that are in awful conditions now. Like it's completely changed in the last
They
year.
are. I'm not saying that there's not people that are starving. I think there are. I think
It's
it's much
awful.
less.
So
I
the whole
think it's
point
much
is like
less than the
how do we
Palestinians are
stop
saying.
that? How do we stop
I
that?
think. Wait,
Like the
hold
more
on.
people that starve in Gaza right now, the more sympathetic those people come to Hamas.
But
Bibi is literally pushing them all into Hamas's hands, and it's hurting the international community and international aid that Israel would normally get.
First of all, I'm not saying that there's not Palestinians that are starving, but I'm pretty sure it's much less than that they're stating, because the amount of propaganda that goes around, and I don't like to use that word because people use it against Israel, and I don't love the word, but they use so much of it, and it's complete BS. Oh, there are Palestinians starving. There are. There's a
A
problem
year
with food
ago,
there.
2 years ago, I would agreed with you, but now it's completely changed, and they
Why
completely
is it
changed.
changed?
Like I said, they've changed how they gave away the food and the aid. They blocked it off so that they corralled them into small areas so that now they have to walk like insane distances in order for it to happen. They've corralled them into small areas where they have
But what
military
made them?
all
What made
around.
Israel do that? What made Israel do
Exactly.
that?
I don't know. I don't
You don't know. That's the
exactly.
problem. If
I'm
if
not fucking
if
Bibi Netanyahu. What
if is I understand that, but you're criticizing the way that he's giving
Yeah,
aid.
yeah.
But if he's giving aid a different way than he was before, clearly the way he was giving it before was not working correctly. And you're
There
assuming
was
that
less starvation before than there is now.
there was not less starvation than there was
Okay,
now.
then I completely disagree with
It's
you
just
on the fact of the
there's
matter. I
there's just
disagree with
many
you.
years of war.
I
There's just
disagree.
been many more years of war, and in
No,
years
it's
of
not.
war,
There's not a war. It's not a war going on right now. It's not a war. It's a starvation. It's a
there's not a
starvation
war
that they're
going on
having.
right now.
No, it's not anymore. Again, a year and a half ago, October 7th, a month after, yeah, there's a war going on. Okay, I get it. Okay, but not now. Not now.
So why isn't your first concern and response for Hamas to release the hostages and surrender?
It
Why isn't
was.
that the
It was. It is.
no?
But
Why not is? Why is it
because of
only
BP's absolutely unhinged in the last year and a
what
half. That's why.
what did he
Because he's
what did
decimating the entire population of Palestine as opposed to going after Hamas's leadership.
he is going against Hamas's leadership?
No, he's not. How could he be going against Hamas's leadership that lives in Qatar by starving the people in Palestine?
There are still Hamas leadership and fighters
there's not.
in Gaza.
No, there's
Says
not.
who, you? How do you
Dude.
know that?
Where have they gone after the leadership before? Where the targeted raids that they have gone after? Where did they go after?
I'm not saying there isn't some leadership that doesn't live in Gaza. I'm telling you,
everyone knows this.
more, but there are.
This is well known. This isn't like
There
I'm like
are-
making this shit up.
I understand there are leadership that don't live in Gaza, but there's also leadership there's also leadership that do live in Gaza, and there's also fighters that live in Gaza. That's who they're trying to fight. These two things have nothing to do with each other. They're fighting them on different fronts. They're fighting the people in Gaza right now. Right now, we're not talking about the leaders that are not in Gaza. They are targeting them, but these are different soldiers that are targeting the people in Gaza.
No,
they don't have to do with each other.
I don't think so anymore. I think that again,
Why
you had an argument a year and a half, 2 years ago. Like you had after October 7th, you had a good argument, but Bibi has completely ruined all the good graces that Israel had in this, and Israel looks unhinged.
By the way,
it just does.
The unhinged comment was the fear that Bibi had in the past, I don't know, certain amount of years when people kept targeting Israel and Israel and Israel and Israel, and he would respond in a certain way, but try not to go as overboard as he possibly can. But at this point, he realized until he wipes out the entire Hamas population.
You can't just do that. You can't Hamas, especially now, since you're driving more and more people. You're driving more and more people into the hands of Hamas by starving them. So it looks even insane. Yes, they are.
I have a question. If Israel wanted to starve the people of Gaza, why wouldn't they just stop giving them food?
Because internationally they have to. It's a UN thing. You have
so
once
you
you're
think
occupying
they're
a
trying to
land.
find a loophole?
once you've occupied people, you are obligated to actually to feed them. Yes.
I understand that. I know. And they are giving them aid. But
Exactly.
the reason
And they're minimizing it and they're decreasing it time after time and time in order to punish
you're
them.
you're going by something that you read or something that you saw that stated that the
I'm going
reason
after
that
I
they're
read.
moving the
Yes,
aid.
that's how it fucking works.
Wait,
That's
hold
how I
on, hold on.
read about the world.
Hold on, wait,
Like,
wait.
just
I understand.
sorry, no,
I'm asking.
no. Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. Crazy. Going by something that I read? Yeah, of course. That's how it fucking works, dude. Yeah. Like, as soon as you go after someone for learning and trying to learn and trying to understand something better, you've lost it. I'm sorry. That's crazy. Okay. Okay. No, Kelly, I gave you 30 minutes to finish. We like went over this and you derided me for trying to learn and trying to be well read on something. You automatically lose when you say that. I mean, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. Okay, I don't know who was first. I think it was A.W. Rice. I'm like, okay. All Rice, I hate you, tracker than CS37. It's not a biased article. It's not one biased article. Again, like it's crazy. I'm sorry. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay what they've been doing. I'm sorry. There has to be some end. There has to be some end in sight that Israel has some type of thing that they're going for, and it has to be. They have to be accountable to that timeline. It can't be an endless war on terror that the United States did, like the United States did in the Middle East. It has to have a defined goal. It has to be, we're going to do this by this time, and that's it. They should obviously be looking towards like taking out the leadership of Hamas and not just waging war and pushing it on all of people in Gaza. Cat D's, I'm sorry, but you literally are not even engaged in the conversation if you think that. Okay. Okay, A.W. Rice just left. Okay, I hate you, dinosaur.
Hello.
Hi. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I wanted to bring up a fact that I think you were kind of pointing at it before they melted down about it, but systemically, Israel is not providing enough aid to sustain Gazans for the next 3 months. Right, so they are they're providing less than starvation amounts.
Yeah.
They're sending in maybe like 300 trucks a day, and that doesn't even necessarily mean that it's food.
Mm-hmm.
Often they just send like burial cloths and propaganda and whatever they want to allow in it. Doesn't mean food. And Israel has admitted to poisoning this food with well, I don't know the TikTok word for it, but basically stuff that harms Palestinians. They've admitted to pew-pewing them when they go and try to get aid. They've admitted to all of this. So to tell us that the source is just an anti-Semitic source when the source is actually Israel themselves, I think is pretty silly. Because Israel regularly admits to doing this. They've also intentionally broken the law at this point. They're not even pretending to not be moving settlers into Gaza. They've literally talked to their whatever their version of Congress is or whatever, and got official permission to do the settlements that they were already doing. So now it's official. They can't lie about it anymore.
This is what I was talking about. So basically, these are the huge lines. This is last month. This is like 2 months ago now. So this is what we're talking about: an aid site where people have to walk 4 hours a day in order to get food. Where you used to have like 30 different sites that you could have, but now they have 4 in the entire place. So now you have to walk hours in order to do this. and these military tanks, and this is why they get shot, and this is why they have to exactly tracker. They have to walk through a war zone basically, and and of course, I mean, come on, how is that any place to live? So of course they're having problems, and they're getting deaths involving violence, and this is what this is. This is a graphic cause of all the deaths that are happening. It's
the civilian casualty rate too is off the charts.
It's
they have a
crazy.
higher civilian casualty rate than the last 3 wars the U.S. has been involved in combined. So they kill about like 18 civilians for every 1 member of Hamas. So like it's also like one of the greatest disabling events in modern history. We have the youngest group of child amputees. It's just like you can't look at this and say it's just a lie anymore, because everyone can see it now.
It's so I mean, again, I think that Hamas, what they did was awful. It's an awful terrorist attack that they did on October 7th. I think, again, I genuinely do, guys. I do think political violence and planning on violence is deranged. Okay, like I do think that's bad. I don't agree with it. I'm not just saying it for TikTok. I'm not just saying it for terms of service. I believe in democracy. Okay, I believe in democracy. That's one of my fundamental ideals as a person. And they had a way to go forward after October 7th that took down the leadership of Hamas without taking out and hurting the entire population of Gaza. And this is just creating more terrorists. Let's be real. This is just creating more terrorists, right? This is awful. It's not,
especially considering they knew about October 7th before it happened, and they admitted to knowing about October 7th before it happened and doing nothing to prevent it. So it's definitely a designed thing what they're doing, and they know that they're doing it, and they talk openly about doing it, and they report openly about doing it. People just don't want to read it. And I think that's a big part of it. Because this information is like freely accessible to you, even from Israeli sources, that this is what's happening. That's all I really wanted to say.
Lots of different, exactly. It's not just Hamas's, and of course, Hamas's medical health industry, health services is going to be, one-sided, but that's not what, we're getting way more information than just that, right?
Yeah. And 80% of the Palestinian population that is alive now wasn't even old enough to vote Hamas into power. So that's something that we have to remember, is like these people didn't vote these people into power.
Yeah.
And like we can't really judge them because we don't know what we would do if we were in their situations, right? Yeah. Like many of us would fight, probably maybe not the same way, I don't know, but a lot of us would fight too.
I know I would be more likely to do that if they start my entire family and everyone that I knew.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, guys.
But you starved me for one day, and I'm probably gonna start fighting already. So,
it's like we're talking like I actually like worked with Israeli leftists. They exist. It's like a couple dozen in the world apparently left.
Yes,
That she's obviously like just blown away, like what is going on right now with Bibi and happening. Like, this is insane. And you have but the problem is that you have the Israeli people having this right-wing nationalist slant ever since the mid-90s, when the last liberal prime minister got elected and was assassinated. So you have just a constant string of right-wing nationalism, perpetuated by Bibi, and it is awful. Like, she was telling me stories about growing up, where this is when the second Intifada was happening. So that's when the weekly suicide bombings were happening, where she couldn't even go into the street. She had to have her uncle or her dad, her mom, like take her everywhere. Like, it was awful, and I think that. But still, like even the historical context, that nothing excuses like what's happening now in the last two
No,
2 years. It's crazy.
actually, the historical context kind of makes Israel's side look worse. If you add everything together and what happened, it kind of makes things worse for them. They look less justified. But that's my deep historical analysis, years-long historical analysis. This conflict has been going on for a very long time. It's only ramped up recently, but it's been around for longer than I've been alive, for longer than most of us have been alive.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that there has to be some recognition that, like, that Israel exists as a country, that we can't go back to 1947, we can't change things, and it's a sovereign nation, and coming in and annexing Israel politically is imperialism, right? Taking that land over and taking Israel over and dismantling the government there through military means is imperialism itself. So I don't agree with that. I think that it's a sovereign nation and we have to recognize it. I can't go back to 1947, so we just have to move forward, and Bibi
Have
has
to come
to do
up with
better.
a creative, different solution.
Yeah, Bibi has to do something better here. This is
he's
awful.
gotta
Nobody's doing.
Get out of power.
Yeah,
And someone else has to come in, and it's got to be different. I don't know exactly what that looks like. I don't prescribe to make choices for Palestinian people, but I do think that what we're doing now is definitely not working.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I think
Okay.
I hate you and Dinosaur. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. All right. Tracker, then CS37, and then Kai. Hi, Tracker. How's it going?
Hey, good. Talked to you last time about like vaccines and COVID and stuff, but
Okay.
this is a new topic for you, or like, why are you discussing Israel Palestine? I thought you like doing science stuff.
Someone asked me about it, so that we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, it's it's really hard. Like I really think. Well, I feel like I need a town hall after listening to that Kelly girl. But I did want to say, like, you were talking about like RFK being anti-vax, and I think with the latest medical conference that they have with town hall, it's kind of I mean, like politics should be in medicine. I actually feel pretty bad about like, I mean, whether or not Tylenol was the causation, but all the mothers who potentially had autistic children thinking might be their fault. I think it's like a terrible thing to do without actually verifying things proven bad, because all the other alternatives are proven bad. So I think they should have at least had the evidence for it, so to show that it is bad. So it definitely seems like a just really arbitrary, and I think that's really unfortunate for public health. But as far as like Israel and Gaza, like I really think it's obvious. I mean, I think some people will say it's been a 70, 80-year genocide, and this is just like the final ramp up of it. I mean,
Go ahead.
But yeah, I think, but I wonder, it's like, it's like what, I mean, how do you get an army to do genocide? And you look at interviews with public people on the streets, the Israeli civilians, it seems like, the vast majority of them are okay with what's going on, support it. They don't think there's innocence. They think they're all Hamas. You hear that Kelly person, she said like 5 to 15 years from now, they're going to attack it down. So they think the kids are, bad actors as well.
Exactly.
They don't differentiate civilians from military fighters. They always say like, oh, they hide behind civilians. People don't realize like all of Gaza is civilian territory. There's no, military bases or stuff like that. So it's all civilian infrastructure, and
I mean, they
And
have to
it's
go in there and they have to rebuild. They have to rebuild Gaza for them. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you can't just like lay waste to that place and then say see
yeah, I
ya. I
don't
mean,
think
it's crazy.
I think they purposely are, destroying all the infrastructure and not punish and destroy the people of Gaza. And I don't think there's going to be an intention to rebuild. I think the end goal for Israel is to annex Gaza, even though it's
Yeah,
I
I
mean
do think that I do think that Bibi is an imperialist for sure. That he wants the West Bank and he wants Gaza for sure. I think that
yeah, much more.
this is just it's creating more and more. He's basically restricting them down and making it worse and worse for them to the point where they have to say, well, we just have to take it over and we have just for the wealth and well-being that they for them or something like that. It's going to be and if Trump in the next 3 years. I mean, he's it's unhinged what he was talking about. Basically, like rebuilding the Gaza Strip into like a Riviera and stuff, like an ethnic cleansing. Like it's insane. It's absolutely
It
insane.
is. It is, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're the powers to be there. I mean, they're the hegemony over there. So, I mean, it's more likely they get their way. But I think like after October 7th, like the world's waking up. Really, it was like Israel mask off and doing those things, and I also feel for the Israeli people, because I think like they've been they go to Hebrew schools, and really like from a very young age build the pride of Israel, and yeah, and it just turned out I don't there's no it's really really rare to find somebody who was a Zionist and be able to step away from that by I don't even I think it takes a certain character to grow up in that kind of space and be able to separate yourself and go against your family, your friends, everything you love, and it's really isolating, but I really think like they don't care. It's just like it's my side or you're the enemy, and it's very pathological. And I don't
Apple
think
juicy, let's go. Forward.
I don't think that project can continue. So
I mean,
hopefully
Israel has to. I mean, Israel is going to continue as a state, dude. I mean, that's the thing. Is like however much people want, or the Palestinian people, or the United Arab League, like don't want to accept them, or I mean, that's the impetus of why they didn't agree to the 3-state solution in 1947. That's why they didn't agree with it in Arafat in 2000 and the Clinton Accords. It's because they didn't want to recognize Israel as a country, but guys, Israel is a country. It's a sovereign nation. It's there. It's like laying waste to it and taking it over and taking the land back or whatever we want to call it. I mean, that's imperialism. That is imperialism.
Yeah. Is your restaurant going to be talking about the Israel Palestine, or are you going to go back to your?
We're open lines, man. Anyone can talk about anything, so it could be anyone, any topic at any time. So.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck. I mean, when you talk to Zionists, they'll debate you, but they have no interest in changing their own mind. They just want to spit the Hasbara and basically go to the talking points and don't put themselves, like bring unique experience and how they can like tell a story. It's all just talking points. So you're not talking to a person, you're talking to an ideology, which is really, that's what you put up there, and that's why people on the chat are, it's very frustrating. But good luck if you can. I'd be amazed if you can do anything about that, because you can tell them, and then if anything, if all else fails, they'll just say it's Hamas propaganda. It's Hamas.
I know, that was really frustrating.
it's really just all Hamas, and like I don't even buy the human shield argument, right? I don't even know why they keep saying that, because a rational person will say like, yeah, if there's a human shield, you work around that, you just don't bomb everybody.
Yeah,
So
like it's unhinged.
it is
Lexi, I
very
mean,
unhinged.
Jesus was Palestinian. Doesn't that mean Palestinians are the chosen people? I mean, like the Jewish people were indigenous before, before I mean, the kingdom of Israel existed in like 500 BC, guys. I mean, that does exist. And that's the whole reason why they don't want to, or the whole thing about digging underneath that temple on Temple Mount, because it's just like all three religions have a ton of stuff in there, and they don't want to excavate it because they could find stuff there for any of them that could lay claim to that. So yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean it is tough. I mean people have to stop going back to the historical arguments, I feel like, because it's just it lays there's always like a narrative that people can go to. People just have to recognize that it's a nation, and we have to make it better. We have to include the Palestinians. They have to have their own nation. But yeah. All right,
Yeah,
Tracker. Go ahead.
I was just kind of thinking about like what's going to even, the human shield fit. Like, there's reports out there like saying that at least the death toll, I don't even know what number, I'm assuming it's like over 60K plus. But there's studies like at the Lancet that's saying like there's hundreds of thousands probably under the rubble, like a quarter of the population just gone. We won't know until the conflict is over and they do like some sort of census. But it tracks, because if you think about it, if 80% plus of civilian infrastructure is gone, you don't have any sanitations, there's no access to clean water. You just like a lot of people are just going to die from exposure, disease and stuff, and it's and I'm absolutely mind blown that like the victim of the Holocaust are basically become the monsters that they claim to, never happen again, and it's really ironic. I hope there just needs to be a ceasefire, and and then the only time the hostages are released are during ceasefires.
They gotta rebuild. They gotta rebuild. The best thing that Israel could do is feed all these people and rebuild Gaza. That's it. I mean, you want to take power out of the hands of Hamas and make people not pushed into the Hamas leadership's grasp, which I think would be a good thing, because I don't like Hamas. I genuinely don't. You just rebuild their nation, and you feed them, and you give them resources, and you welcome them, and do whatever you can. But that's the thing, is that Bibi's not going to do that. So
my fear ultimately, if they are successful in annexing and ethnically canceling Gaza, I mean, it's not Gaza and West Bank. West Bank's next, but all the surrounding countries are at risk as well. So and you hear it in their rhetoric that like, when people talk Palestinians, they think, oh, they're Arabs, and they see they say it in a way like as it's like a maybe not the right word, but almost like a slur. But and so like they have that kind of racist of view of things, and I really think like, hey, like Lebanon and all the surrounding countries, they're going to go buffer zones and annex, and like the world knows about the Greater Israel Project, but like if the genocide is successful, and everything gets ethnically cleansed, then like when the Imperial Project expands, then it's it's going to be the same playbook, which is really scary, because I think they won't be able to stop
Yeah,
And,
they obviously want to take. He obviously wants to take the West Bank and with settlements and the increase in settlements. The largest expansion in the settlements has happened after October 7th. So he obviously they obviously want to. So it's bad. It's obviously bad.
Yeah, they already said there's not going to be a Palestinian state, and they're expanding the settlements to make that impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
And and we have, all the other, resistance against Israel, or all the, well, they say it's Iran proxies, but yeah, they're next. So yeah, I hope, I really hope that it doesn't happen, that they do get the whole Gaza Strip gets annexed and all the Palestinians expelled, because they'll say, like, we got away with once. Why, that's it's a really scary precedent. I mean, it's already really a scary precedent now, but if they do continue and get what they ultimately want, then yeah, I fear for all the surrounding neighboring states, and the real, civilians there. All right. Well, talk to you.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
All right, bye, Chagger. See ya. All right, we got CS37 and then HC Cali. I mean, Hazel, they voted against it in 1947. The United Arab League voted against the Palestinian state. So that's the Arab states didn't vote for that. Hi Tio, hi Marissa. We got more people. CS37, you're not loading. Oh, didn't load. No, he loaded but then failed to jump in. All right, next up, HC Cali. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
So, I talked to you a couple weeks ago, when I was a couple weeks out from moving to Europe,
Oh,
and now
that's
I'm
right.
5 days out.
Okay, cool.
There's a couple things that the guy you were just talking to kind of like struck a nerve with me. So my bachelor's degree is in terrorism studies.
Oh, that's right.
And yeah, and I spent a lot of time at NSA in counterterrorism. I think there's a flaw in the argument that Palestinians are just fighting, and there's also a flaw, and I say this very carefully, in terms of Palestinians choosing Hamas, and I say that while acknowledging that Hamas is a T organization. But what would you do? And I say that in terms of I'm a white 47-year-old straight woman with military veteran background, and I'm leaving the U.S. because I don't want to stay here for that. Where the Palestinians are now is where I think the U.S. is going to be in a very not short amount of time, but midterm amount of time. Like, what do you expect these people to do? Because at some point, enough is enough. And we actually did the exact same thing when we went to Iraq and we went to Afghanistan. We created more terrorists than we stopped. So when you look at Israel and Palestine, like, what do you expect to happen? Like, Israel created more terrorists than they stopped.
Yeah, I mean, I think their argument would be that like the state of Gaza is directly because of the Second Intifada and the 150 suicide bombings that happened over 2 years, and that's where the fence came from. That they encroached on and broke through in October 7th. So I think that Israel would make the argument that they were just trying to safeguard their population from that from happening again.
Well, both countries. So I'm like 2 weeks away from publishing a book about. So since the military, I went into the wine industry. Weird.
Oh, nice.
And I'm about 2 weeks away from publishing a book about all the instances in which vineyards and wine have intersected with war and battle. And that area has been a frequent place of battle.
Mhm.
And it's not even outside, like even outside of wine, you would have to pull the thread so far to see who threw the first rock. Like, we can talk about what happened last year, we can talk about what happened 2 years ago, but one of the things that I've learned with writing this book and doing all this research into like when wine and war intersect, one of the things that I've accidentally discovered is that you'd have to go back even further than 6000 BC to find out who threw the first rock and why there is the animosity. But going forward from like my original reason for requesting up was to talk about the Tylenol thing.
Okay. Yeah.
But then the other guy got me on the terrorism thing, and I'm like, you're not gonna screw with me on terrorism.
Just real quick though. I thought from my knowledge, it was the kingdom of Israel, which is 1000 BC, and that was like 1000 BC to like 720 BC. So it's like over 300, about 300 years that kingdom of Israel was there.
Yes, and Islam is the newest of the. So
Yeah.
you have Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are the three books, right?
Yeah.
Like they all three believe in the same God, and Islam is the newest. I am not here at all to absolve Muslims and Islam of guilt, nor am I here to absolve Christians or Jewish people of guilt. What I am here to say is that all three, like when you look at the history of all three books, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, all three books have historically significant events and living and everything in Gaza. So what it should be is what it was 1000 years BC and 1000 years AD, which was a shared community. That's what it should. If you really care about the fact that you believe in the same God, but you may have a different messenger, if you really care about that, if that's what your real end goal is, then everybody should be welcome. Any party, whether it's Israel or Palestine or the Christians, no party should be trying to take ownership, because all three religions of the book have had significant experiences in that geographic location.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what the mound that with all three religions on is literally all about that. But I mean, the Ottoman Empire comes through in the 1400s, right? And this is like the whole idea.
The Ottoman Empire is a mess.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. That's why they have that. That is what the Palestinians are there for, right? Until the British come in.
The Palestinians were there far before the Ottomans.
Okay. Yeah, but the Israelis were there with 1000 BC, right? I mean, where the people that are indigenous.
Well, we have to first define what are we calling Israelis.
Okay.
So when you refer to Israelis, so if you go back like super far into history, you have the Nubians, the Egyptians, and then there was and the Levantines, right? Then there was migration into what is now referred to as Israel and Gaza. And the Levantines are a huge piece of that.
Okay.
When the Levantines were there, the Christians were there, and this is predating Islam, right? So you had Christians and Judaists, and then about 700 AD-ish is when Muslims came in, but they were all living peacefully together. In fact, God, I can't remember where the archaeological project is, but there's an archaeology site, I want to say in Jordan, maybe Syria, that showed that when the Christians left, it was not because of attack. The archaeological site, basically everything was intact. There was no evidence of having been attacked. And it was just a show and a sign of the Christians acknowledging that Islam has come in and they wanted to peacefully leave. And all of this is to say, like, I'm pretty agnostic. I kind of just steal the best parts of every religion. I don't ascribe to a religion. I just take the best parts of all of them.
I mean, the Ottoman Empire doesn't peacefully leave. They get kicked out by the British in 1917.
Well, yeah, the Ottoman Empire were kind of a bunch of dicks.
Yeah.
They took everything from every country and left nothing in their wake. You know, like you can go to Albania and pretty much anywhere else in the Balkans, and you can see evidence of the Ottomans. But then you go to places like Jordan and whatnot, and you don't see any of the infrastructure. You don't see any of the evidence of the Ottomans other than what they took. Like the Ottomans, outside of what we currently refer to as the Middle East, took resources and left no Ottoman infrastructure. When you go to the Balkans and elsewhere, you see Ottoman infrastructure and things that the Ottomans gave, whereas you go to the Middle East and you see what they took.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. I was really cool. Your background and stuff in the Middle East. So I was just curious about your viewpoint on that. So thank you for discussing that with me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not what I came up here to discuss.
No, your background and stuff. But I remember talking to you and being like, "Oh, I'm curious about your thoughts. I'm really curious more about your ideas on geopolitics." But you can whatever you want to talk about.
Geopolitics is my favorite thing to talk about. But what I came up here to talk about tonight is as a former intelligence officer, I'm super scared about the U.S. and this Tylenol bullshit. And do you know about Hegseth calling in all the generals and all the admirals from all the posts in the world to come back to Quantico, which Quantico is CIA, next week?
No, I haven't heard about this.
So Pete Hegseth, the drunk Secretary of War, I think yesterday or the day before, called in for every single general and every single admiral from every base in the world to come to Quantico, and Quantico is CIA. And he has not yet released the agenda for this meeting. This has never happened in 250 years of U.S. history.
Oh, damn.
Never happened. So there's a couple scary things about this. During Trump's first term, he asked General Milley, who was his like top general during his first term
Yeah.
to just shoot protesters. And
Yeah, I
General,
remember that. Like
yeah,
shoot
you
him in the
remember that?
feet. Remember they shoot him in the
Yeah, and
knees
he
and
said,
stuff.
"Well, just shoot him in the leg." And Milley
Yeah.
was like, "No, that's not what we do." So there's speculation and also like fear that all these generals and admirals are being brought into Quantico to find out who will do whatever Trump wants and who will not. And then you can probably figure out what happens from there.
Yeah, I mean there's like I mean, do you think the loyalty pledge has already happened and now they're enacting it, or is this the whole like?
I think the meeting next week is the loyalty pledge because you
Okay.
gotta look somebody in the eye.
Yeah, I think I mean there's that famous Saddam Hussein meeting in the hall and stuff like
I know.
but so I'm curious if you're referring to something like that or if we're just like seeing if everyone's still on board, but
No, it's not saying if everyone's still on board, it's saying who's on board.
Yeah, what there's a bunch of like war games and stuff that they're playing too, right? That's like way more in the
My father is still Quantico with 50 plus years. He's got a very extensive history in war games, and yes, there's a lot of war games going on, and a lot of those war games are being played in the U.S.
Yeah, apparently they're like increasing it dramatically since Hegseth came in or something, and like specifically the Pacific Theater or something.
Hegseth is a he's dangerous as fuck.
Yeah.
He's drunk. He has no regard for the Constitution. He has no regard for actual like when you talk about patriotism, if you can't stand by the Constitution, how can you call yourself a patriot?
True.
Hegseth is not about the Constitution. He's not about the people of America. Hegseth he's a documented white supremacist and white Christian nationalist.
Yeah.
And the things that I used to translate when it came to the Taliban, when I used to translate things that the Taliban would say from Dari and Punjabi and Pashto to English, Hegseth and Stephen Miller say the exact same words in English. I just don't have to translate them.
Oh man.
It's gonna be fucked here. And this meeting with the generals next year, like I was already raising a flag up to say get out now. But this meeting with the generals and the admirals next week, I don't know like how much else to raise a 5-alarm fire to get out. I'm leaving. I have cancer. Okay? I have cancer. I'm leaving on Tuesday with cancer, my 95-pound German Shepherd, a low 10-figure savings, and an airline ticket. And 9 suitcases.
Dang.
That's how serious I am about get the fuck out.
Dang. Do you think that he would like invade another country, or do you think that it's like going to be a war against Americans?
He'll do both. It'll be both. He'll put troops on the ground against Americans, and he'll pick a fight and start a war against somebody else. Why do you think he's suddenly like on Ukraine's side against Russia?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
That was
it was
very weird.
on a dime. It was on a dime. And all this shit with Venezuela.
I know they bailed him out like $50 billion or something. Was it $50 billion?
Yeah, well, he's gonna pick a fight with anybody who will fight with him. While also like you can't even define Antifa. There is no definition of Antifa, right? And again, I have a bachelor's degree in terrorism studies, and I spent 10 years working counterterrorism at the National Security Agency. You can't fuck with me when it comes to terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
They are throwing that term around.
Yeah.
There's 257 definitions of the word terrorism in the world, and none of those 257 definitions have anything to do with what they're throwing around.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ezra Klein made he's making the analogy that it's like the Red Scare between
Yes,
the 27s to
McCarthyism.
the 50s. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
McCarthyism.
yeah.
When Stephen Miller said like 5 or 6 weeks ago, God, he said something, and I was like, this is he's building up to McCarthyism. It was like 5 or 6 weeks ago when Stephen Miller said that basically, if you're a Democrat, you're going to get looked at. It boiled down to that. I don't remember the exact quote, but I remember 5 to 6 weeks ago going like, oh, we're going into McCarthyism.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't surprised by that because 6 months ago I saw where the bouncing ball was going.
And I thought that Ezra Klein made the astute observation that like I thought like the Red Scare and McCarthyism was about communism and the rise and the march of global communism that was actually happening at that time, but it was about rooting out the communists within our government. This is about labeling everyone, the entire left, every
If you-
Democrat,
if
every
you
Democrat
dissent.
is
If you
now in that
dissent.
group. It's not just getting a specific group. It's everyone is the enemy now. It's wild.
Yes, if you dissent, and even if you go back to McCarthyism,
Mm-hmm.
there were actual communists in our government. It was the same thing that's happening now, where if you're not on board with what we're doing 100%, then you are a communist. And it's the exact same thing that's happening now, where if we're not 100% on board with what the Trump administration is doing, we are terrorists.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're labeled as a terrorist, so first of all, the federal government actually doesn't have power to take somebody from a U.S. citizen and label them a domestic terrorist. Like there's no legal term for domestic terrorist in the U.S.
Yeah.
But what I have noticed since he got elected is that we are acquiescing a lot of our power. And the minute Trump says something, you can't do something, and this is the way it is, we are acquiescing, be like, oh, fuck, I guess that's the way it is. But in reality, the administration saying that there's a such thing as domestic terrorists is not actually a thing. There's not actually a definition for that, and there's not a law for that. That's why the KKK and all these white nationalists have gotten away with it, because we don't have a law for that. You have the FBI having acknowledged about 4 years ago that white nationalists and the KKK and whatnot are problematic, but there's no law for it in the US.
Yeah.
So with Trump coming out and being like, if you don't agree with me, you're a terrorist. And there's even a bill that's already been introduced in the House. It's HR 5300 that will give Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, the power to revoke U.S. passports, which means citizen passports, for dissent. For dissent. And the way they went about it was saying, if you sympathize with domestic terrorists, but there's no definition of domestic terrorists. There's 257 definitions of terrorist, period. There's no definition of domestic terrorist. So it basically gives Marco Rubio the power to decide who is and who is not a domestic terrorist, and it all boils down to dissent. You can have your passport revoked and become stateless if that bill passes. It's HR 5300.
I was looking at the text right now. I was just curious, like what? Yeah, I think that there's probably Congress Fire Stream.
Oh, I just saw this guy, Jose Joestar, saying that I'm lying and he hopes everybody studies the Patriot Act. Yes, actually, I agree with you. Go fucking study the Patriot Act. I worked in counterterrorism in the United States intelligence when the Patriot Act was passed, and it's a fucking disaster. So yeah, go ahead, do your homework, Jose.
Huh. Yeah, I think, man, it sets policy for the State Department in the areas of departmental management, political affairs, international security, economic affairs, foreign assistance, and public
Keep
diplomacy.
going. I think it's page 57 or so.
Oh, okay, this is
where
just
it comes up
the
with
okay. That was just the intro. Oh wow, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's a few hundred pages. So I think page 57
Oh yeah, you're
or
right.
so.
Here, yeah, exactly. 1 second. Here you go. So no passport for terrorists and traffickers. So the act entitled "An Act to Regulate an Issue and Validity of Passports and for Other Purposes," commonly known as the Passport Act of 1926, is amended by adding the following: authority to deny or revoke passports to individuals providing material support for terrorism.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's wild.
And there's no definition of the term material support.
Yeah, exactly. 1 second, guys. I'm getting you here. Sorry, this is the best you got, guys. I'm sorry. If you guys want the full text, I have it on my YouTube stream. It's hard to do text for TikTok. Subject to subsection B, the Secretary of State shall refuse to issue a passport to any individual who has been charged with or convicted of a violation of section 22. Yeah.
Charged with.
Yeah, exactly. And haven't even proven guilty. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Right. The Secretary determines has knowingly aided, assisted, abetted, or otherwise provided material support to an organization the Secretary has designated as a foreign terrorist organization pursuant to section 219. Revocation, the Secretary of State shall accept as provided in paragraph 3A, revoke a passport previously issued to any individual described in paragraph 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's the, yeah, you can refuse any passport.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say non-citizens or obviously I'm a citizen if you have a passport, but it's any, there's no like naturalized versus,
Nope.
you know what I mean? Just
U.S.
anyone.
passport.
Yeah. Exceptions. A, returned to, let's see, can I do this? Listen.
A. Return to the United States in order to facilitate the return of an individual described in paragraph 1 to the United States.
Okay, I don't think that's any better. The Secretary of State may limit a previously issued passport or passport card only for return travel to the United States. So
Yep,
you can return.
If Rubio decided that you're a terrorist because you think Trump sucks, he can have you extradited from anywhere to come back.
Exactly.
Your passport will only be good to come back and then be sent to Guantanamo or El Salvador.
Exactly. Or may issue a limited passport or passport card that only permits return travel. B, humanitarian and emergency waiver. The Secretary of State may issue a passport to an individual otherwise ineligible for such passport or subject to revocation of a passport under the subsection in the Secretary. So he can give you a humanitarian or emergency waiver for whatever, for emergency circumstances or humanitarian needs apply.
Yeah, do you want Rubio deciding what's humanitarian?
Yeah, why would the Secretary of State get all this power? That is wild. That seems so unconstitutional.
What a surprise. In this
I know,
administration,
I know,
what a
I know.
surprise.
I know. I'm good old fashioned, I guess. I like our federalist society, like system that we have. I guess I don't know. Oh, that's wild. That's wild. That's so weird. Are you for this? No, I don't think that the Department of the State Department should have that ability to revoke passports of citizens. I don't think that doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It's just I think it's cool. There's no meaning of it. I just like the flower. Oh, she left accidentally. I think she got disconnected. Yikes, guys. That's not good. The Secretary of Marco Rubio just having the capability now. The Department of State can just revoke your passport if you are seen to be sympathizing with terrorists or anything like that. That is wild. This is just introduced to the House. It's not passed. It's a boutonniere. Yeah. It's only just been. It's not a. It hasn't been passed, but. Well, a nice little. This is the official one. Well, guys. Well, we're gonna have. Let's chill for a little bit, okay? Let's chill. Thanks for coming in, guys. Yes. Anyone that's been seen to have any material support or convicted of any material support, so you could just take your passport from you. Doesn't make any sense. All right, guys. What? Oh my gosh, guys. What's happening? Oh no, it didn't happen. Oh no. There we go. Yay. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much to our latest super fan. Thank you guys. Thank you for all the gifters. Stars, Priscilla, Ado, Lexi, Ducray, HC Callie, Jared, Roger. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to the top likers: Ado, Tio, Alina, Stars, Helen, Ducray, Krista, Carol. Check out my link tree, guys. Check out my link tree. It's a cool thing. There's cool stuff going on in there. All right, back to it. Oh my gosh, it doesn't work. Thanks, guys. Also, hit the fan. Oh my gosh, I'm stuck in space. I'm back. Guys, become a fan of the show. Hit this thing right here. Reg Mayan, thank you so much. Hit this thing. Everyone, let's all become a fan of the show right here. Let's level up. Let's level up the stream. One of the anti-vaxxers was making fun of me that we were just a C stream. We're not a C stream, guys. We're the best stream in the world. We're the #1 science stream in the world. That's right. Hit the thing. Hit this thing right here. Become a fan. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hi, Ichi Kali.
Hi, I'm sorry, my phone died when I
It's
was
okay.
mid-sentence. I'm sorry. I was gonna say, like, when it comes to anything, I was gonna say geopolitical, but really anything, I'm a big proponent of primary sources. So
Yeah.
before I went into intelligence, I was a journalism major.
Oh, cool.
And then I went
Nice.
and then I went into military intelligence. And the very first for lack of a better word, class I had to take at NSA was how to remove your bias from your intelligence product. Because you should obviously first be looking for facts before forming an opinion. And what I see happen so frequently now is that everybody has opinions first without facts.
True.
So when it comes to my opinions about healthcare, about what's happening in the US, about geopolitics, all of it, all of my opinions are formed first with a lot of in-depth research. And it scares me. Again, I'm a 47-year-old. I have cancer. I have a 95-pound German Shepherd and a low 5-figure savings, and I'm getting the hell out of US. I see where this bouncing ball is going, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't either. I think what you're talking about with primary sources is so important. I totally agree. I think that's why I mean, if anyone wanted to follow my primary sources that I'm reading on screen, one, my YouTube stream, I'm streaming on YouTube, so the one that I'm reading off of, my reading monitor, is always streamed there, so you can follow there. And then also, guys, the Discord has show notes, and I just copy and paste all the URLs in there every night. So if you wanted to follow along, you can. I love reading too. I'm a big reader. I think that
what a skill, right?
I know it's so funny because it's like the Mueller report came out, you know, and it was like we were waiting for that thing for like 2 years. So, you know,
That's how I felt when the 9/11 report came out.
yeah. So I read the Mueller report, and it was like, I think it was like 300 pages or something. But then it's like half. It's one, it's double spaced, and then a lot of the pages are just footnotes or whatever. So you don't read every single page. And it's like, and it's so funny because like my generation grew up reading like 500-page Harry Potter books, and yet people
we can't read a bill.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys! Like, it's in your exact language. You're not going to understand every word, and it's long, you know. So maybe you it takes a couple, 5 hours, 6 hours to read. You just break that up over a week, and I think that everyone can do it genuinely.
It's the same thing with Project 2025 being 920 pages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, you're not gonna sit down and read that with a glass of wine one night. Like, you're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
But you can sit down and you can read that over a month, right?
Yeah.
You can have a glass of wine, and you can even read it online and do the find on page to look for things that you care about. That was an option also.
It's true. Yeah, I think, and it's wild. It gives you reading primary sources gives you like a super human ability, because you could just detect when someone is bullshitting and has no idea what they're talking about because they haven't read it. And it's like,
you can follow the bouncing ball.
Yeah, like literally, like the Mueller report, like one of their conclusions was like, not only did they like contact and communicate with Russia, they contacted and communicated with Russia over 100 times, so much so that there's no way that they had any idea that this was illegal and they shouldn't be doing it. So that was
Before
literally
I went
one of
into
the conclusions.
counterterrorism, I was a Russian linguist.
Oh,
Russia was my
interesting.
target before counterterrorism.
Oh, wow.
We are currently Egypt on high-speed rail to Russia, and then just right behind that is, we all hate to talk about the correlations with 1930s Germany, but we are Egypt right now. We're on a high-speed rail to Russia, and then right behind that will be 1930s Germany.
I mean, my big thing is like, I think that Russia has been sowing discord in the United States with disinformation and botnets since 2015, and I don't think that it's stopped. I think that it's
Since before that.
Sure.
Since like 2010, yeah.
Sure, yeah, with Cozy Bear and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think it's wild to me that people don't like patriotically talk about this.
Patriotism's out the window.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's out the window is because the Russians did a really good job of redefining patriotism. And the false patriots, just like the pseudo-Christians, have a really loud voice that I don't know why. And hey, I'm scared as fuck coming online right now. I'm super scared. I already have I have a second iPhone that has no apps on it, no social media, everything. The pseudo-Christians and the pseudo-patriots are so freaking loud. Loud and proud about being really wrong. But they're the ones who have the executive power right now. We can still fight with them, but nothing will happen if they slaughter us.
Yeah.
That's the part that has me fucked up.
Yeah, because like, I mean, the whole thing with after World War II, like re-educating people was about like showing the atrocities that happened in their country and showing them, like, there's the video, pictures of them watching the atrocities and watching the videos. And it's like, I think that relies on a shared view of reality. And I think that through disinformation and through algorithms and through AI now, you can get fed a completely different reality and just live within that. Where
And live with it. You live in this alternative. Like,
yeah, like
how weird is it that these people literally have AI photos where Trump looks ripped? Why
exactly.
would you even feed that into AI to produce?
Or they think that like because of how many people talk about like trans issues during the 2024 election, like
It's
Gallup
such a
polls
weird
afterwards,
thing.
they thought that like 20% of the population was trans now. Like it's like
It's
what?
so
Like
weird.
what?
First of all, even if you think that 20% of the population is trans, first of all,
Yeah.
have any of you ever fucking seen Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the bottom foundation of just being able to eat and have a roof on your head isn't satisfied, why the hell are you going to the tip of the pyramid with trans people will be the tip of the pyramid?
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about the foundation going up, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing on the foundation or the floor above that or the floor above that has your idea of trans people and what that means to you. That's tip of the pyramid shit. Can we please first talk about the foundation of the pyramid
Mm-hmm.
and get that dialed in? Like
Yeah.
healthcare and housing prices and food prices. Like, let's worry about the foundation before we go to the tip of the shit. These people are so insufferable that they actually worried about the tip of the pyramid and threw us all under the bus on the foundation.
I think it's just the algorithms that fed, a lot of people this idea. That's the thing, is that they're, that I guess my argument is that these people live in the AI algorithms that people have, and now it's how do you get people out of it to share a reality now? That's the thing.
I don't
I
think
don't
there's you don't vote your way out of what we're in right now. You don't vote your way out of it.
I mean, the problem is that the power at B is like with capital, and there's no way, like the only power that we have is with voting, because in any type of like revolutionary scenario, like the power is going to be with the capitalists. I mean, that's the problem.
Midterms will tell everything. I am 50-50 on whether or not midterms are compromised.
Yeah.
If
Yeah, I know.
midterms are compromised, you don't vote yourself out of fascist, oligarchy, authoritarian. You don't vote yourself out. The only way out, and I'm not advocating for this, this is just a fact. If you look at history, the only way out of fascist authoritarianism is with a lot of violence. I am not advocating that. I'm just stating an historic fact. The only way out of fascist authoritarianism requires a lot of blood. If midterms are compromised, the two options are acquiesce to the fascism or a lot of blood. And I'm leaving, but everybody who stays is going to have to make their decision on which way they're going to go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's I think people I like was really frustrated in the 2024 election how everyone was taking it so normally, and like still playing the bullshit games of like, oh, they're both the same, like Hassan like is sitting there saying like, yeah, well, Kamala's just going to be just as bad as Trump, and like he's still
When
saying that, by
people
the way. He's
say
still
the
saying
left and the
that
right are
Kamala
the
is going to be
same,
just as bad. You're like,
that drives me insane when
it's
people say,
wild.
like, when people say the left and the right or the Democrats and Republicans are the same party, that I want to choke and shake them and ask them, like, can you please tell me the platforms of both sides and tell me where they intersect?
Yeah. Thank you, Nicole. Yeah, it's wild to me, the yeah, Marissa, yeah.
JC National Girl 1776, they are not controlled by the same people, and that's a foolish thing to say.
They're saying APAC and stuff. That's what their argument is. It's ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it's so dumb. So
Go to APEC and look at I'm not going to deny that people on the left have taken APAC money, but go to APAC and look at how many dollars were taken by each side. And then you tell me that Kamala's $9 million is anywhere close in the ballpark to Trump's 237 million. Go ahead,
Yeah.
fucking tell me how 9 million stacks up against 237.
Or
I
if like,
beg you.
or the $30 billion that like Elon bought in order to make Twitter a
A
Trump
thing?
ad. He made it a full page Trump ad for him. Like, it's
Yep.
like what, like in what world is APAC the puppet master in this? It's so weird.
There is nobody on their way to becoming a trillionaire on the left. And
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
billionaires and there's multimillionaires on the left, but there's nobody on their way to becoming a trillionaire, number one. Number two, I do personally believe that there is no such thing as a good. My last position before now, I reported directly to a billionaire. And he and she own an NFL team.
Mhm.
Reported directly. I thought that I found the only good billionaire, but no, I didn't. No, I didn't. There's no such thing on the left or the right as a good billionaire. All of them make their money by stealing.
Mhm.
All of them.
It's
You
true.
do not become a billionaire on your own merit.
I mean,
Who the hell works so hard that they have billions of dollars? Nobody.
I mean, like basically, Twitter was completely turned into a Trump ad by giving Trump full page ads on Twitter. Man, you had things on your mouse. There was like a Trump like little wavy thing that came off of it. The entire page was a Trump ad. Like that, there was no opportunity or no ability for that to happen with Harris. Like it was insane.
Nope. Yeah. Look.
So it did happen, Tyler. Yeah, it's real. It's crazy. It was crazy. I couldn't believe that it was happening when it was just like, this is insane. I mean, he spent $300 million on an LLC. Guys, the thing that's wild.
An LLC with $8.
The thing is, guys, is like we're past Citizens United. You know, like that. The people talk about Citizens United when they talk about this stuff. Citizens United and 501c3s and super PACs. That was when millionaires and billionaires wanted to keep their money dark. That was the whole point, right? Dark money. But you can just make an LLC that's just explicitly for getting Trump elected president if you had the money to do it. And that's what Elon did. That's why he spent virtually unlimited amounts of money and he was able to do that. So we're kind of like post Citizens United here too. It's like these guys have so much money that we really can't even fathom. It's basically unlimited to spend, and that's why the politicians are kind of like they don't want to go against these billionaires because the puppet masters are the billionaires. They're not the politicians. You know, like it's wild. It's wild. They don't want to go against them.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I can't even consider myself to be against the right because, first of all, you're not even equal. Like, we're not working with the same set of facts, and we're not working with the same set of intellect, which I kind of miss about, like, 20 years ago. You could have a conversation as a liberal with a conservative, and you'd be working with the same set of facts, just with a different idea about how to achieve a common goal, right? You could sit with a conservative at a table and say, this is a table. And the conservative would be like, yeah, it's a table. Now you sit with the conservative and you say, this is a table. And they're like, what the fuck? That's a step tool. That's a step stool. That's not a table. What are you talking about? Where do you take the conversation from there? There's nowhere to go. But,
I agree.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, like, like, Elon and Trump both, and I'm really trying to not be a flat earther on this, or an anti-vaxxer, but Elon and Trump both alluded to the idea that Elon fixed Pennsylvania. They both alluded to it. They did not come out and say it in the left because we have so many morals. The left did not come out and investigate it further, which really annoys me.
Yeah.
But both of those allusions should have prompted really hard investigation, because now what you have is like they made those illusions, nobody on the right cares about it, but Trump said some false shit and everybody on the right believes it.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they've changed the Constitution, so it's called the unitary executive theory, where you just basically it's the executive branch that runs the entire Constitution. Is defunct for 250 years of U.S. constitutional law, but now because of this authoritarian power grab, they basically post hoc rationalized this and been this is the way that they've kind of said like, oh, this is why Trump's actually immune. He actually has all these clauses in
It's
there.
a false
And
democracy.
yeah, and he like basically Roberts has basically rewritten the Constitution to give the president these new powers that he never had
The
before.
immunity thing. The
Yeah,
immunity thing is the most damning thing that has happened since Citizens United. Citizens United was bad enough. The immunity
Yeah.
clause. Holy, why would you do that? And then you watch all the Republicans in Congress voluntarily abdicate their co-equal power.
I know,
Like,
right? They'd be so funny, so wild to me. I mean,
you're co-equal. Why are you bending to them? You are co-equal.
I do genuinely think that the Democrats are at a crossroads that they need to figure out, are they trying to run on the 1796 Constitution or the 1790s Constitution, or are you going with the 2025 Constitution, because it is completely different
100%.
and you can't
Yep.
like the problem is that you can't have two sets of rules, right? You can't have
No,
like
you
one
have
set
to. If
for
they're
Democrats.
going to change the rules, play by the rules that they set up.
Exactly. So are we gonna exactly, because you can't have like the Democrats going like, guys, we gotta like check every single step, like we need to make sure it's judicial. You have to double check. Like that's what Biden did, right? The Senate parliamentarian like knocked out a bunch of his stuff, and they were like, well, that's what he said, guys. That's what's up. Versus the Republicans are like, we're going to fucking put this in. And the Supreme Court, I don't care. You can come out here. I don't care, Roberts. How dare you even try to stop us? It's going to be like,
all the gays, all
like,
the
what-
women, all the
what are we
trans,
gonna
all
do?
the people of color.
yeah, what are
You
we going
can't
to do?
play by it. That's why so when Gavin got in trouble, I actually voted to bring him up to another vote. Like, I actually voted for him to get, like, whatever the term was. And then after he got in trouble, I voted to keep him in. But I did vote to get him in trouble. As much as, like, the only thing Gavin hates more than a Republican is a poor person. Or a homeless person. Like, that's it. But here, right now, I don't need him to be my next president. I need him to actually be the person on the left who's playing by the right's rules. That's all I need. Like, if you just do that, you have my support. If you run for president, we'll talk about that later, because I will be voting against the right's agenda from anywhere in Europe that I am, without having to experience what's going on here. But the Democrats, it's so frustrating. We are so morally high ground that it's fucking us.
Well, I mean, this is a good example, guys. So like this is a tangible thing right here. So basically when Trump ended birthright citizenship by executive order, which he couldn't do, right? But they stopped, everyone birthed during that time was basically
Everybody
like a
believed it.
stateless citizen, and people just kind of went with it. And it was a huge thing that went straight up to the Supreme Court. And basically, because all these district court judges were blocking the executive power from happening. So basically the Supreme Court case was, hey, why can a district court judge stop the executive from enacting something that they want to do? And that was the court case. And basically it was cited again. Wow, more executive power in this case. And Sotomayor in her dissent was talking about how, wow, you're ending this is just giving the executive unchained, unbridled power, because right now it's the birthright citizenship, but this basically gives carte blanche for any administration to come forward and do this with any of our constitutional amendments. So
Yep.
she was talking about how you could legally now have a president come in and start seizing guns in the country as a national defense thing, saying that I'm going to have an executive order for national defense in order to save our country. The number one killer of kids, we're going to stop this from happening. And you can have a president seize guns, and there would be no judicial court that could stop them. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is like the actual like dividing line. Like, how seriously are we going to take some of these things? Do we actually want to believe like and actually make like progress? Do we have the handles exists now in the Constitution that the president has some new powers in order to do this stuff? Like, what do we feel? Like, how do we feel about these issues? Or do we feel like they're important enough in order to go to the grindstone on this type of stuff? That's the new Constitution that exists. Britt, I'm with you. I love the old Constitution. I love it. I think that there is something that's beautiful about the United States and the Constitution that was created with democracy. I love democracy. It's my fundamental political ideal. But you know, that's dead. That Constitution doesn't exist anymore.
That
It's gone.
Constitution is dead.
It's gone.
And you know, so I'm going to Milan, Italy for 3 months, and from there I'm going to the capital city of Albania for a couple of years. I'll have residency there, and from there I'll apply for residency to go to Paris, France. I read Albania's constitution a couple weeks ago,
Nice.
and it was like pretty much our constitution, but then fortified the way our constitution is not fortified. Like the ways that our co-equal branches have been able to abdicate their co-equal power, the Albanian constitution does not allow for that abdication. And it was really, and of course, like, the country of Albania and their constitution is much younger. Like, they just got out of communism in the early 90s, and their constitution is new. So they had the benefit of looking around and being like, what do we want not to have happen?
Yeah.
But everything that, like, I loved reading their constitution. There's a safety to reading their constitution. And as a veteran and prior service member, I have always held the ideal of America very closely with our Constitution. And without the Constitution, it's just soil. And as I watch the Constitution slip further and further from our grasp, I just look around and say, there's better soil elsewhere.
Yeah. I do think that they're in the original 1790s Constitution that we ratified. You know, like, I do think that there's a fatal flaw in it that Trump has exposed. Obviously, there is no, you know, if you have the executive in with all the police and all the military, there is no mechanism in order to hold them accountable, and it's just, there is none. There's like, even impeachment. Who's going to remove them?
Exactly.
Who is the
Pam
actual?
Bondi.
Yeah, exactly. That's the executive again. So it's like the DOJ has no arresting power. They have no ability to actually like do anything. And I think that, like, before, it was just kind of like, you know, politics is a lot of like handshakes and nods. You know, guys. You know, that's what a lot of politics is. A lot of throughout the world. A lot of politics. There is no constitution. A lot of nations don't have constitutions, guys. They don't write everything down. It's made by common law. So you just basically have an understanding of what the law is at the time, which is even more handshakes and nods, you know, but we have a constitution, which makes it unique. And that's why we have to preserve it. And, you know, Britt, I love you, you know, I trust me, I love the Constitution, but I feel like there is a huge, a fatal flaw. You know, I don't know how we come back other than a constitutional amendment. But then again, it has to be a constitutional amendment stymie these things down, in order to push it down so things can't happen. But the problem is, guys, this is not what the people want. The people don't want, in a content world that everything is so fast, they don't want their government to be so slow and to be so stymied, in order to not be like, they want more reactions from Congress, from our government, into the problems that we see. So I don't think that people want to go back to the tepid, checks and balances system that we had, where it's going to take 20 or 30 years in order to get a single bill passed for a single issue. Like, I don't think people want that anymore. That's the problem, is that's why people like these billionaires. That's the problem, guys, is that these billionaires are popular. Guys, like, he's popular. But like, Trump is wildly popular for how awful he is. Like, that's the scary part, is that like there isn't like a 90-10, like, holy shit, this is insane. It's like these people like these billionaires because they have so much power. They're basically superheroes. So you basically have your own Superman that's on your team. So that, you know what I mean? That's why these politicians love these billionaires too, because they're on their side. You know what I mean?
Not like these people who support Trump and love Trump. He would not urinate on them if they were on fire. He would ask, "Why am I looking at this person on fire? Get it out of my way." And he would probably bring somebody to trial for suffering the indignity of seeing an American citizen on fire in front of him.
No.
And that's the thing about when you were talking about the Constitution and the fatal flaw. Like, I don't think the founding fathers imagined that we would see a time when, I don't know, I'm gonna get a bunch of 2A nuts about this. I don't think the founding fathers saw a time when our president would welcome the military to fire on us. Yeah. But in the 1800s, like, there's some argument about who it was who said it. Like, one of the arguments is Lincoln, with that, if the U.S. falls, it will be from the enemy within.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're experiencing right now.
I mean, every single checks and balance hasn't been. Trump has never been held accountable for anything at any stage, and that's the problem. Is that the Electoral College was the exact reason why the Electoral College exists. You'll read the Federalist Papers. The exact reason that the Electoral College exists was for 2016. 2016, like, the Electoral College, all of the electors should have gone in and been like, "Yeah, guys, he's compromised from Russia. We all know he's talking. He is this guy. He's completely compromised. We can't let him become president." And that should have been boom.
The Electoral College was supposed to save us from stupid people.
Yeah, that was the exact point. And like, in every single time, every single report, it was the Republican Party allowing him to become the nominee. It was the Electoral College allowing it to happen. It was all the checks and balances that stopped him. It was the Supreme Court not. They just completely, what was it, the 13th Amendment? That they literally made it illegal for him to run again in our Constitution, because we had gone through this with the Civil War. But again, Roberts rewrites the Constitution and ignores an amendment in there to stop that from happening. It's just.
And then you have McConnell not giving Obama a Supreme Court justice. Because he was like, "No, we're less than a year from the election, so we need to let the American people speak." The American people already spoke, that we're giving him this amount of time. What the fuck are you doing? And then in Trump's final year, he got 2.
Yeah.
McConnell gave him 2. Like, McConnell deserves a special place in hell also.
Oh yeah, he's an awful person.
Horrible.
Yeah, I think that. I think that people are frustrated. It's honestly wild to me, like, how good things were, like, economically and by the numbers wise, with the Biden administration, like, especially with the climate change and bills, like, things were going so well, like, genuinely, and it's like, and I feel that, like, we were like the best of all these nations that were kind of coming, like, together. Like, we were the economy and the envy of the world, like, legitimately. And
we just like, no thanks.
Yeah, and it blows my mind, and it's like, I think like especially with Obama, like Obama failing to be that kind of like he was our generational change agent, and when he
Yep.
failed, he he could have been and he could still be, but he fails to be that person that could change the political landscape, right? Where
Yep.
he just has had no power in 2008. He was an ineffective executive, really poor executive. Didn't get any legislation through, but despite having 60 votes, the ACA was good, but it really, I'm sorry guys, but it just that is not the, he had such a mandate coming in, and just getting the ACA done is not enough. And he was so ineffective because of McConnell was so good at stymieing him.
McConnell was
But
so good at blocking everything.
But what's frustrating is that like what Obama really is good at is like the bully pulpit idea, is the community organizing, and they completely failed at that in 2010. The Democratic Party basically goes vacant and at the state and local levels, and like Obama just has no cultural sway, even though he could. Like, think about how much Trump sways political opinion about every single issue, and Obama could have done that and could still be doing that on every single issue, but he fails that. That's the thing that makes me so mad, is that it's honestly Obama just failed to rise to the level of Trump, and he literally could have been that person for our generation, and he just failed.
But the two are working with the same citizenry.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's more alarming that Trump is who our citizenry navigated to. Because Obama, for the most part, not perfect, but you can't step over good to look for perfect, right? So Obama's not perfect, but for all things said and done, he had integrity. Yes, we can talk about drones. I'm sure that there's some fucking MAGA person who's going to talk about drones in here. If you want to go toe-to-toe on warfare, we can do that. But, you know, he wasn't perfect, but he's a good person. There's nothing redeemable about Trump. And the idea that enough of our citizenry went towards Trump, and then you had 90 million people who couldn't decide against Trump, really says more about who we are as a nation.
It's true.
Than Trump or Obama.
Yeah,
and that's what I saw. I saw a video today. I'm born and raised in Texas, MAGA. I'm born and raised in Texas, and I'm a veteran. How much is your mind scrambled right now? So I saw this video from it was either a Texas or Tennessee high school football game. Everybody in the stands and all the cheerleaders were doing the Sig Howl. This is our next generation of voters, and that's why I know that this country is cooked. When you have high school people doing the salute, not the Roman salute, stop it. We all know what that salute is. That's our next generation of voters. That's our youth.
They're cooked. They're Republican by like 30 points, guys. It's insane. It's like 70-30 for Republicans for 18 to 24-year-olds. It's awful.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like I genuinely that is and if you think about that though, like think about when you were, let's say you're 16 and you're 16 in 2016 and you're kind of like the anti, getting the teenage years, you're kind of like getting out. The Obama is you want to get away from it. You're anti whatever politics is happening, so you're against Obama. And then Trump happens, and he's different from a politician, and then it just kind of like doesn't, it doesn't change. You don't think that like Trump is really that bad. And then in your college, your formative years, you're 20 years old, you're going in, and then COVID happens, and you blame Biden because of misinformation, and you blame Biden for it. So now you're 24 and you're at 2024 and you're like, yeah, of course I'm gonna vote Trump again because like I feel like you're the when you're 8 to 16, you didn't really like nothing was fundamentally better under Obama. And then, but now Trump is just like that counterculture cool guy kind of thing, and you're kind of mad that your college years just got taken away from you because of Biden in your mind, not because of the freaking pandemic. But it's like, I think that's why you have a lot of young men that are going against it. It really doesn't have anything to do with DEI. I don't think. I don't think it has anything to do with. Like, it's just them like.
Radicalized. And when I saw the
Yeah.
cheerleaders also doing the salute, like the cheerleaders were all girls. It's a high school football team. All the cheerleaders were girls, and they were doing the salute, and I was like, bitches, like, do you understand that we as women, no matter what color you are, women are a more marginalized community than men of color, right? Like it goes white men, and then it goes men of color, and then it goes women, and then it goes then it goes white women, and then women of color, right? Like, so seeing all these girls doing the salute, I was like, you don't understand that you're one of the marginalized communities.
Yeah.
You are the SAVE Act. I think it's like HR 531, HR 571, something like that. The SAVE Act, which is in the Senate now. It's already passed the House. Will effectively take away women's right to vote. It's not written in there that's at the that it's the intent, but it's the effectiveness of it. It will effectively take away women's right to vote. And all these girls on this high school football field doing the Sig How, it's like, how, what are your history and civics teachers doing? How is this what you are in support of?
Yeah. It's wild. I don't know how to get to how do I reach these youth? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's really bad. And the Democrats are in a really bad spot demographically where now they actually like civics wise, like if like high turnout elections used to be historically better for the Democrats, but now because of the young generation, it's worse for Democrats to have a high turnout election. And because you're more likely to be Democrat if you're older and you're higher educated, but if you're working class and you're younger, you're more likely to be Republican. So Democrats actually need like a really weird route to 270 now in order to become. It's looking really bad, guys. I mean, it could be. And there's a period of time where the House was like, what was it? One party for like 30 years. Like, it happens in our politics where it can just go to one side for the longest time, and
then all this damage gets done. And even as liberal as I am, I'm a huge proponent and believer in the idea that both parties need to be healthy. And I was never one of the Democrats who voted blue down the ballot, right? Like there would be Republicans that I voted for. And with as sick and twisted as the Republican Party is now, I cannot imagine voting for anybody. I don't care if you were voting for, if it's librarian. If you are a Republican, get the F out. I am not voting for you. At this point in time, like, there is no room for anything bipartisan. Like, the Republican Party is so sick and so twisted and so gone that the first thing that needs to happen is all of them need to be voted out, and then we can start over again. And I know that, like, there's probably some independents and some red people in the chat who are like, that's horrific. No, F you. The Republican Party is lost. The Republican Party, there's nothing American and nothing patriotic about them. They are voluntarily abdicating co-equal power to the executive.
Exactly.
That is so against everything American that I, born and raised in Texas and a veteran, cannot stomach, and I'm leaving with my dog and 9 suitcases and cancer to go live somewhere else.
Well, thanks for staying to let us know and staying on the stream and letting us know how the expat life treats you. So thanks for staying connected. I appreciate
I
you.
will. I
Okay.
will. I'll be back from Italy and Albania and France.
Nice. Well, thank you, HC Cali. That was really nice talking to you, and let's get into geopolitics more. I'd love to talk to you more about the world
Yeah,
later.
we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank
All
you.
right, bye.
All right, guys. That was a cool chat. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Real quick. Let's do a quick time here. Just real quick. Oh, I'm up here. Uh-oh. Oh, help me. Help. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much to the top gifters and likers and everything. Oh, what happened to the gifters? I don't know. What happened? Thank you, Ado, Stars, Tio, Elena, Helen, Ducray, Roger, Krista, Carol. Thank you, guys. Check out my Linktree. That has all my stuff for my Discord and my YouTube link and my YouTube archive, everything like that. Let's see. Whoops. Let's not do that one. 1 second, guys. All right, guys. Whoops. Not now. Not now. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. I tried to do some cool stuff for this production and it's not working. Okay. There it is. We're back. Thank you, guys. Hey, hit this thing. Become a fan, guys. Become a fan. That's the number one way to help the show. Appreciate you guys becoming fans and starting this thing. We're trying to level up the stream. We're already the number one science stream in the world, right? We're already the fastest growing stream on TikTok. We have to be. I was like at 0 like 6 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago. Now we're at 13,000. It's like crazy. It's insane. It's crazy. We're grabbing tons of people. Thank you so much, and thank you guys for all the support. I'm from San Diego. What's up, CS37?
Yeah, what do you think of capitalism?
It's an economic system based on private property.
Yeah, obviously, but are you in support of it or no?
I don't think that's how we should organize like our economy ideally. I don't think that greed and gluttony is usually something that would be something that we should organize around. No.
Okay, yeah, so I don't think it's necessarily greed or monopoly. I think it's based on individualism and what you need for you and your family. But somebody said it's monopoly within the chat. No, capitalism is what takes down monopolies through competition.
No, I think that's you have like a real like a oasis idea of like a well-regulated capitalist system that doesn't really exist.
It's not regulated, it's unregulated. I mean, look at Argentina, fastest growing nation on earth, unregulated market.
Okay, so you want an unregulated capitalist system.
Unregulated.
Okay, so then how do monopolies not form in an unregulated capitalist system?
So you have the very just straightforward view of it, but the reality is that when you allow the market to decide, there'd be so many people within the marketplace trying to get their money, right? And they would compete with each other. That would stop people from emerging as monopolies. That would drive people to this place, to that place, based on what they want.
Okay, so I want to make a online marketplace. I want to compete against Amazon.
Yeah, okay, so if you're going to use Amazon as an example, the United States is not capitalist, right? The United States gave them subsidies, silenced people at the bottom, right? It's really hard to compete.
The United States gave Amazon subsidies?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of regulations on the market keeps it so that smaller businesses, keep them from competing with bigger businesses.
What? The United States has tons of incubator programs to give startups money, and like there's tons of abilities for that to do. Like you could
and that does not promote any like incentive to actually do anything. That actually does more harm to businesses. It takes away their incentive anyway. What I was going to say is
there's tons of small like tech startup companies like in the
yeah,
United
okay.
States.
Yeah, and giving like subsidies and stuff to Amazon, which they do.
How are
It
you
does
getting
not do much.
subsidies to Amazon?
How are they making subsidies? They've done it in the past. By giving them payouts, bailing them out of certain situations, which they've done in the past. They've done this
Bailing
for
out
many.
Amazon? What bailouts have Amazon taken?
It was a couple of years ago. They had some bailout. Anyway, what I was going to say is
No, they haven't.
yes, they have. Anyway, what I was
What are
going
you
to say
talking
is
about? Well, no,
I'm
bro,
trying to talk about smaller businesses.
Bro, we're going point by point. Okay, chill.
I know, but
Chill.
I've already answered your point.
No, you
which
haven't.
Is,
There's been no bailout for Amazon.
okay, do you want me to go get a source for you? I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm big about sources. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that Amazon's ever been like bailed out. Like the banks or something, then yeah, okay. But I don't think that they've been bailed out. I think that guys, chill, okay? Chill.
Okay, yes. Federal Trade Commission, according to just Google, said the AI. Federal Trade Commission,
FTC Amazon bailout?
No, actually, wait. Let me
That's
go
a settlement.
back. Yeah, let me real quick.
You think that the Amazon a bailout is a 2 point is it what?
No, okay, wait, wrong source. Let me go back real quick. Okay, yeah, so it says the things that have made Amazon more powerful are the 80,000 pages of regulation. So actually, I was wrong about the subsidies, okay? It was not subsidies, but it was regulations that keep people from competing. That is just what the proof is.
What stops people from competing against Amazon?
As I said, 80,000 pages of regulations within the marketplace. It makes it so much harder
no, it's
to
just
start.
that they're monopoly, dude. That they don't. We have.
You're just ignoring what I'm saying. They are a monopoly because they are a monopoly. Do you think that the United States does not have 80,000 pages of regulations? It makes it so that businesses have to pay these insane minimum wages, like in California, like a famous taco shop had to shut down all their places because they couldn't afford minimum wages. That creates monopolies, and that has happened to Amazon, is that because the government has made it harder for smaller businesses, they emerged as this, new technological advancement, and nobody got to compete against them. That is only because of the government.
I don't think that an unregulated capitalist market would allow a company to be formed to compete against Amazon, because they've had such an ability and a stranglehold in so many different markets. So it's not
exactly. They've had such a stranglehold because of the government for making. Yes, absolutely. Amazon got lucky. They got to emerge.
Lucky. No, dude. All the Mag 7 companies didn't get lucky. They have tons of people. And money and resources that you just can't get at a startup. It's a monopoly, man. You would normally
and you know why it is a monopoly is because people at the bottom, because the government allows some people to get resources and does not allow the market to make these decisions. It is a fact. You cannot argue with that.
Yes, the government gives small companies seed funds in order to actually try to compete against them.
And do you think that makes them more productive? No, there's no market incentive when they just give fake profit to them. What would actually make businesses more profitable would get rid of the 80,000 pages of regulation. That is what's keeping them down. And instead, allow the free market to just allow the small businesses to grow based off of market incentive.
They need money, bro. They need money and they need capital in order to do
exactly.
that.
Exactly. No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Capitalism.
That's literally how you create, because you have an economy of scale problem. People aren't able to create products at an actual.
Okay, so do you think that investors don't exist and those type of things. If you have a good enough business model,
Yeah.
which would be created through capitalism, people would invest in that and give you the money in order to compete.
Yeah, angel investors do exist. I understand that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is what would help you pay off your debts, whatever you need to start up your business.
But
If, capitalism, when you need to like maximize your profits, that would make people be more innovative, and they would go to investors and say, "This is my new creative idea. Help me with this." And then that's how they're going to compete within the marketplace.
I mean, that already happens. I mean, do you think that an unregulated like capitalist market has no patents or anything either?
What do you mean by patents?
Patents, like the intellectual property that you can like have and own.
Yeah, absolutely. You're allowed to own things within an unregulated capitalist market, but monopolies cannot exist because, nobody can emerge to that state because other businesses would come in and basically take down the amount of profit that you can make on your own. Because the government makes it so that Amazon is one of the only types of businesses that you can buy from, that creates a monopoly. It's only the government that creates a
There are
monopoly.
other marketplaces capable of being bought from on the internet. So I
Yeah,
think
of
that
course. I'm not. If you just said there's other marketplaces, then how does Amazon have a monopoly? Then they're just one of many big companies.
it's because everyone goes there, and it's
Exactly. So then
yeah.
what you're saying is it's not, that it is it's not a monopoly. Well, what you're saying, if there's other marketplaces, why are people not going to those? It's because of the restrictions. Because people are not allowed to innovate, and it makes it much harder for them because of the regulated market that holds back smaller businesses.
No, it's because they have a monopoly of the stranglehold on the merchants that need to sell, and if they're gonna sell something, you're gonna sell it on Amazon. You're gonna do whatever it.
And why do you think that is? You're just saying the same thing over and over again. You're not making an argument.
Because no, my point is that power and capital congregate together. It's a whole point. That's the whole point of capitalism.
Yeah, and I've already
the
said with
idea
power and capital-
is that the bad companies that don't perform well go out of business, and that's just how it is. And the money and the people.
How does capitalism prevent that? I'll just ask that question. How does capitalism prevent that?
That's the whole point of capitalism.
Yeah,
Bad, ill-performing companies go out of business. That's the whole idea.
Smaller businesses the bad performance to create and incentivizes them to do better, and that creates more innovation, more progress within the marketplace.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it creates
gives them-
it creates a way for money and power to congregate at the top. Yes.
No, because the smaller business would be allowed to compete. We've already been over this.
Because 90% of them fail, man. That's the thing, is that the best idea.
90% of them fail. Okay, so what does that tell people at the bottom? That they have to do more, and that would cause them to move up. If you were to tell me that nobody at the bottom moves up, you'd be absolutely crazy. It does
happen. It does happen, obviously.
Exactly.
But there's monopolies that these things happen. I don't think that you're ever gonna have another search, Google search kind of thing.
ChatGPT, that is a product of the free market, ChatGPT, and we will keep progressing on that.
Okay.
Exactly. You're just okay. You made some point, and then as soon as I made a perfect point of that, it's just okay.
You made a perfect point. Okay. All right. It's annoying. Okay. Hi, Cordoba. How's it going?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Hello. I've seen a couple of your streams, not the entire thing per
Cool.
se, but I've tuned in a couple times. But I wanted to pick your brain on something because you seem like an educated man.
Cool.
You
Thanks,
seem
man.
pretty smart, so I thought maybe you could give me some insight into something.
Cool.
So there's been videos and talk going around. Basically, the premise of the idea is that we lost control of the United States of America in the year 1913 when the U.S. Federal Reserve was created, and it was the 16th and 17th Amendments were ratified.
Is that the gold standard?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
But that's what I've been hearing, and I would just wanted to know what your thoughts on it were, or what you knew about it.
Dude, I mean, I think honestly, man, like it's kind of crazy. I would have had a different opinion like 20 years ago, but like actually now, I've since I'm kind of I day trade on, so I do a lot of trading, and since the pandemic, I just like haven't stopped. And um, dude, the Fed is like one of the most technocratic things. It's honestly incredible. Like he's like they're so data driven. They're so like on the numbers, and they're so knowledgeable. It's like listening to speeches by Powell are literally just a breath of fresh air for me right now. So it's like it honestly blows my mind. And I think that like not having a gold standard or whatever and moving to the U.S. monetary fund and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know economics well enough in order to understand what that entails, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think they were more meaning the amendments that were ratified. Basically, your money became the government's money at that point in time when they ratified that amendment.
Which one is
I
it?
think it was the 16th. I think it was the one for collecting taxes
Okay.
on the citizens.
Yeah, it's the 16th. Is grants to Congress the power to levy an income tax without appropriating it among the states based on population. So it was 1895, and then
I think the main argument was that that's how we lost control. We lost control over our money well over 100 years ago.
Let's see. I think honestly, man, it's probably a good thing. Like for real. I think that the Fed, like having an independent thing, because I mean, as you can see with Trump, right? It's like, imagine if Trump had the ability to, and then there was if it was within the political branches, like think of every time they come in, every president is going to want to, slash interest rates, and they have no incentive in order to have honest monetary policy. It's always like look at Trump right now. He wants like 0% rates. Like he wants to cut it down to 0% again, just so to cook the economy. So I don't think that I don't think it would be good to put that power in the hands of the politician. The 17th Amendment.
You're probably right.
The 17th Amendment established that there's the direct election of the U.S. senators in each state. So I think it was the 16th Amendment that you're talking about.
Yeah. I had one other thing.
Okay.
It's something I've been pondering for close to a month now. Do you think this is what the 1%, the elites, want, is left and right fighting? I mean, I won't pick either side. I refuse to pick a side. Mm-hmm. But do you think that's what they want? The 1% in America, they want to look down at us and see us fighting amongst ourselves?
Like for sure. I mean, they're pillaging like the government and our resources and our economy. Like I do think that. I mean, but they've chosen a side, obviously, right? They have chosen the Republican side 100%. I mean, the elementary or sophomore position is like but both sides have billionaires and they're both bought and paid for it. I don't agree with that at all. Like, I think that's just, I think that it's pretty obvious which side it's on. The power and the money is obviously with the Republican Party, so it's, does there like left leaning like billionaires like Bill Gates, Soros, like, yeah, sure, but they're not like actually creating realities for people to exist in that only push their ideology forward. Like specifically Elon Musk bought Twitter so that X could become a right-wing Republican platform for free speech or whatever, but it's not free speech, but you know what I mean. So And I think Bezos is doing the same thing, right? Bezos has the Washington Post, and it's like they have realized, and I think that only really Elon Musk actually gets it, the power that billionaires have is only is limited by the attention that you bring to yourself. So that's why
Yeah.
like Bezos and Elon Musk have the media companies. But I think Elon Musk like understands it more so than other people, that like as a billionaire he has a certain amount of power, but by the attention economy, by being able to have bots that can actually be a puppet master for what people actually deal with and what they see on their everyday, that's a power that he can't buy even without money.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I don't think that we need, like the guy before me was saying about full-blown capitalism. I don't think we need full-blown capitalism, but I also don't think we need full-blown socialism either. I think we need to meet somewhere in the middle between the two, where people are taken care of, but the economy can flourish at the same time.
I mean, I think so. Like socialism's never really on the table, right? I mean, socialism is the workers owning the means of production. So, like, with the workers owning their places of work. So, like Starbucks, all the baristas owning the Starbucks. You know, I don't think that that's ever really on the table. People conflate like a federal government and socialism, which I don't really agree with. And people also conflate that like the Nordic countries are like super democratic when they're actually constitutional republic. They're monarchs, guys. They're monarchs. You beg for your freedoms from the king. So I do think that we actually have more freedom and liberty in our constitution in the United States than any like constitution where you beg the king for your rights.
Yeah, I agree with you, honestly. Well, I'll let somebody else come up. I don't want to dawdle too long or take too
Okay.
much of your time. So
Okay.
thanks for the opportunity to speak, and I'll keep tuning in when I have a moment.
Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming up. All right.
Yep.
Peace. The United States, I think, is the we do have the liberty and freedom here that the other places don't have. Louis Scott, I don't think that they're socialist. All right, guys. I've got jujitsu in the morning. I got some fun stuff to do. So I think I'm gonna end it here. We've gone for 3 hours now. I think social aspects can be implemented in some areas, but totally. I think like we could have. I mean, I think that there's like a lot that people aren't imagining. Like the big problem when like people talk about socialism and communism is when they hark on stories about like the USSR and about China or something. You have to like harken back to like American stories and American ideals, and like we have like a long history of unions. We have a long history of worker ownership through like stocks and that kind of stuff. There's different ways of creating a workplace ownership model that's not just like worker co-ops, for example. So I think that you could like mandate stock options, like a certain amount of people, the employees owning a certain amount of a majority shareholder voting rights of a company, for example. I think that you could have, or in Germany they actually have a board on the board of the companies. If you're after a certain size, you have to have a certain amount of employees that are on the board. So I think like we can get more creative and stuff than talking about Marx and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, the stock market's really interesting. If you think about it, like the stock market is is a way, like you can have within leftism, you can have markets. I mean, markets have existed before capitalism, and I think that people don't they discount markets a lot because they don't understand them. They think that stock market tool of billionaires, stock market bad, market's bad, and it's more than that. Like capitalism, basically, if you think about like a market and you give everyone, it's kind of like a way of voting. If you think about it, it's all about how like people can vote on how much something is worth. And I think that that's a really important aspect in an economy because you can't have the government dictating prices on everything. That's called a command economy. And it's just, I don't think that'll work. That'll ever work. There's just too many different things. There's too many different ways that, that you're never going to be fast enough in order to try to command what the exact prices of everything. And you kind of see this with Trump, right? With his tariffs. So he's going individual by individual good, trying to say what a tariff is on everything. And it doesn't work. There's not a way to have the government be fast enough in order to regulate the market on what it should be, what the price of goods should be. And having a market that's liquid. So liquidity in a market means that you get the price that you want to pay for that price as soon as you can. So like I want to buy a share of SPY at 500. I want to be able to put my bid in and get that 500 in immediately. If I try to put in 500, if it's at 500, if I can't get it and there's a slippage, then I'm getting at 501, 502, and it's only at 5. You basically lose. There's some inefficiencies there. It's called a bid-ask spread in the stock market. But the idea is like you want more voters in the stock market. That's the idea. More people should be incentivized, and we should have more people in the. Yeah, I do, Chantel. The more people should have the. It's genuinely. I mean, the stock market. It's honestly pretty wild. Honestly, guys, real estate is tough. Real estate historically hasn't been a good investment, but it's been so rocketing recently. It's really I don't know how that's gonna shape out in the future. But the problem is that the stock market is increasing at a rate higher than inflation, and if you're not in the stock market, your money's being diluted. Basically, it's very weird. Like you have to have your money into the stock market right now. Otherwise, your money's basically worth less over time. Chantel, yeah, I mean, land is finite, right? I think that makes a lot of sense because there's a finite amount of land that people will want to have. So that's why I think that's why you have a lot of foreign investors that are happening in the United States, especially in like California on the shoreline. Yes, Celia. Dude, that's 4. Okay, so you got your flu and C19, and it's 4. Celia got 4. Let's go. Nice. We got 4 for Celia. 3, 2, 1. Yes. 386. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming in here and talking about it. Thank you guys. Hey guys, if you're not a fan already, hit this thing. Become a fan. For real. It helps us. It helps the stream. It helps us level up the stream. I really appreciate it. You can really help me, help you. Thank you guys. Thank you. Hit the little heart and become a fan. Become a fan right here. Right here. Yeah. Yeah, hit this thing. Oh yeah, we're just chilling. We're just chilling. Thanks, JC. Thanks for being in here, man. I really appreciate you. Thanks for being in appreciate you. I don't block people for opposing opinion. Yeah, everyone can be in here for anything. So as long as you're not toxic, spamming something, all caps, or obviously like slurs and stuff, we can't have that. Oh, thank you, Straw Cherry. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah. I think it's been wild. It's been wild, like learning about the stock market and stuff, and paying attention to that world. And I do think it is wild, especially learning about options, like how many tools exist to make it so easy to make money when you have more money. It's not only is it easy to make money when you have a lot of more money, but it's less risky. That's the thing that really makes me the most mad, is that it's like billionaires literally just get paid to have the money that they have. Like, that's what's so crazy. Helen, there isn't, and I know there isn't like I looked at the TOS and I understand that it is something I've never gotten hit for it, having anyone age related on my stream, and I feel so when I was in like 8th grade, okay, I was 7th, 8th grade, I was already paying attention. I'm 38 right now. I was paying attention to politics, so I'm like 12 at this point, like still reading the paper. I started reading the paper every day at 12. And so I had opinions about politics, on what was going on in the world, and I all my life I had adults say and tell me I wasn't allowed to have those opinions, that I didn't have that, that I was too young, that I wasn't allowed to participate in this. And so I don't strictly regulate the stream for 18 plus. I want people in here. Like, I think about people, when I was 14, 15, I would love, I tried to find intelligent conversation everywhere that I could. I would debate people on the internet. I would try to find people, and intelligent conversation about sources and facts and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking about like my 14, 15-year-old self, and like, I would want to be here. I want to have a stream that I would want to be here when I was a kid. And so that's why I don't do that. That's why I don't age limit the stream. There you go, Serge. So that's why I don't age limit the stream. I don't think I ever will be. Oh, cool. British John, what's up, man?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good. Dude, I saw the poster you're making about the ice. That was insane. That was awful, man.
Just
sorry,
I picked the wrong time to try and swallow a magnesium capsule. I'm not sure. That thing is so big. I'm not sure it went the right end. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, that video disturbed me.
Yeah, man, me too. I don't understand what's wrong with these guys, man. Like, what are they thinking? It was basically a video, guys, of this police officer, or I don't even.
Well, he's a police stroke ICE officer.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
boys and girls. I don't usually pimp my stuff, but I put up a video earlier tonight, and
it's awful.
The first 5 seconds, and then I stitch it talking about how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Links to another account, and I encourage everybody, don't go to follow me. Go click on that account. The video of the actual assault, because this woman is assaulted. Her husband had been taken away. He'd been to an ice court. They'd taken him away. She was shouting at the ICE officer. He's not wearing a mask. And he literally lunges and throws her across the corridor into the wall. Yeah. No harm. He is 220. She's maybe 115. Pounds. And then she goes to the floor. The video, there's a longer version of the video. It got taken down. Literally, I finished recording the stitch, uploaded it, and went to tag it onto the video, and it had already gone. Wow. So JC Rationale girl, she was wrong though. Okay, she was wrong. It was wrong for her to be shouting at him, because that's all she did. She was in his face and she was shouting. Yeah. He had easily had a foot on her in height and 100 pounds. So disrespect, the appropriate response to disrespect is to throw somebody physically across the corridor into a wall and then throw them to the ground. And by the way, I'm not adding any, I'm not making any hyperbole.
No, it's
when
true.
they act in full, yes.
She's a First Amendment. She has a First Amendment right.
Hope.
You know, she has a First Amendment right to say what she wants. You know, I mean, it's just crazy. She even cussing at a police officer, you don't have the right to just dumpster someone like that.
I hope you. How do I articulate this? I hope you do not find yourself in a horrible situation with a distinct lack of witnesses. I hope you don't find yourself in that situation, because I don't want you to say, I don't want you to protest. I believe, learning comes to us all. I am substantially less of an asshole these days than I was, 16. Oh my God, it's 16 years ago when I got SHOT'd in Afghanistan. I was on a spicy vacation. Comes with the territory. They don't pay you because you want, because it's a safe place to go. It's not, it's not vacation. But it just blew my mind that JC Rationale, you can keep being as wrong as you want. There are 67 million people in the UK, 2 million of which have spicy steel tubing. Okay? The only things you don't want to blow, I don't want anything blow your mind. JC Rationale, I own a good number of the patents on the use of artificial intelligence in IT security systems. I do not think you have the literal human intelligence to go up against me. Okay, you are a troll. I wouldn't doubt that you are you should be the end of someone else's bloodline. It is here in America we have 330 million people, and we have more than that in weaponry. How many civil wars do you want to win in a single day? Is my but I had spicy tubes in the UK. I used to have a farm. I've had a number of them. You really are showing your level of knowledge and intellect there, sir.
Yeah.
But I'm appalled to call this my home. I became. I think Josh told you I became an American 3 weeks ago.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
No.
Wait.
No.
What?
No.
I thought you got your citizenship. Wait, what?
Yeah.
What is it?
Imagine that somebody says, 3 weeks ago I became an American citizen. No, do not congratulate me. That was exactly what I did. It's not something I needed. Mm-hmm. It's of far more value to other people. You should go back, make your better. Look, bot, please improve your English. Okay. I didn't require it. I'm married to an American. I have a daughter.
Okay, cool.
But the reason I turned the camera on is because I want people to realize this is a real person. That's why this is on. I know I'm not good. The voice is way better than the face. I know that. I've lived with those. I've lived with it a long time. But I've lived here legally for 14, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew something was different this time with Trump's second election.
Yeah.
I knew, even if he didn't know what the fuck he was doing, he would have people with him who clearly knew what they did. That they would. And see, I saw the writing. I've been to too many countries where this has happened there before.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was paid to do.
Mm.
But I had to get my citizenship as an insurance policy to just continue to, provide for my family.
Mm.
It's the reason I didn't do it for those things. Because I have I had security clearance, and ironically, well, it makes military intelligence. I'm open about what I can be. When the irony is, when changing your citizenship becomes called a change of status, and then I have to go through a 9-month process to get it back.
Yeah.
Well, I like working, so I never did.
Yeah.
So I let it lapse a while ago, but there was no reason to change.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see what ICE is doing. Are you familiar with the film V for Vendetta?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hate misinformation, and I'm very careful not to be hyperbolic.
Mm-hmm.
Very careful. But I do worry that ICE is becoming Trump's fingermen. That they feel that they are, that they're empowered with the mass. I mean, how can you be accountable if you're not visible?
Yeah, exactly.
It appalls me. This is not the America that I fell in love with back in the late 90s.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because you have to have the police number, you have to have the ID badge. I think that the problem is like, it's not ICE. I think that ICE is going to be those federal thugs, and that's just that. I think that's what it is. I think it's the local police that are supposed to be the people that are defending the citizens in that area, where they're like trying to say, hey, this is, I think that's how it's supposed to work, right?
Well, they have the powers of arrest.
Yeah.
They're carrying weapons. The idea that we have people in tactical gear driving around in minivans. It's like some bullshit Arnold Schwarzenegger thing from the 80s.
Exactly.
It is just, it's one of these weird things, I know I'll be fine, but a young man, the ceremony was weird. It was, I'm quite open about my world. I'm autistic. I have non-standard presentation. What we used to call Asperger's, now ASO, AS1, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I do all the crazy things with big numbers, but I also have a number of personas that I can use to help me deal with the world.
And
interesting. I'm very open about it, because my wife found out the hard way. She said, "Why are you wearing a pink shirt again?" I own 21 of them. Are they different shades of pink? I hope not. They should all be exactly the same. Why are you wearing a vest? I'm going to go meet some people. Just, why are you wearing a vest? So I can go meet people. If I don't have my vest, I can't meet them. I wore a vest once, it worked. Now I will do it again.
Nice. I love
I have these wonderful. It's a fat guy's friend. If it's long enough, it's slimming. But I this is just not. So I lost I meandered away from my point. But yeah, it's a very strange world, and it's not the amount of damage. This is going to take a generation to unwind. We saw this with Brexit. If you just look at the economic impact of Brexit in the UK, that is going to linger for 3 generations. Lost investment, lost opportunity, lowering of education standards.
Yeah.
And then you see the social disruption that's followed with the far right marches and Tommy, whatever his name is, Nigel Farage. This populistic nihilism.
Yeah.
And we have it here now. If they break Medicaid, it's not going to be rebuilt by the next administration within 6 months in a single bill.
Exactly. Yeah. That was all from Obama. Obama's the ACA, the Medicaid expansion.
Yeah. Oh, I was the CISO for Obamacare in California. I was responsible for the. I worked for NTT at the time in conjunction with Accenture and I can't remember, not Cal here, whatever California Health was called back then. Yeah, I built the exchange. The idea is we would do California and then we would use that model to show that we could do it in the other 50 states. Don't know if you're familiar with this, but the rest of the country didn't really want it, apparently. Healthcare, crazy. But yeah, the damage that this is going to do, and it's going to fall on the poor. It's like we've decided we don't win if you've got a suntan or if you're poor. But I digress. I was very glad to meet you the other day. I for whatever reason, actually, this is where it was imminent. You have never come across my I don't know how many years I've been on TikTok and doing lives on a regular basis. At no point did you ever come across the algorithm never decided we should meet.
I just started doing this like 5 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be a good reason.
Yeah.
But what I also found interesting about that video that we were talking about, the woman being thrown across, is the fact that the algorithm decided to put that in front of me. When we all assume that the algorithm is tilting right. And I know it wants, I know what it wants. It wants me to create the video I did I know, but the algorithm is also very careful not to, it wants engagement. It doesn't want to incite, and it also doesn't want to amplify the wrong things, and yet it decided that those videos would be seen. I do find that interesting. Anyway, I digress. It's way too much for my voice here, and for that I apologize. I'm writing a paper on well, I don't know what I'm going to call this, agentic AI. So getting AI systems to work with one another. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
So
I use agentic the new GPT-5 for some stuff. So.
Yeah, that has agentic capabilities. There'll be more. It supports something called MCP, and yeah, I do this. This is my happy place. Training. I'm training my replacement. I'm trying to see if I can retire before it replaces me completely. But you know, someone's got to feed the cats.
Real. Well, John, thank you so much for popping on, man. It's really nice meeting you and before on the show.
Likewise.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for
good to see you. So
I'd love to talk to you more about AI and stuff later.
No, absolutely. I'm gonna go write about it for the moment and get paid.
Nice,
we'll do it for free another day. Have fun, sir.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right, guys. That's it. I think that's it. You did it. Well, guys. Let's see. I think that's it. Oh, we got a food shot. Oh. Wait. Got a flu shot. 1 second. Alice, you're amazing. 1 second. We are going to go back here. Oh my gosh. I hate when this thing doesn't work. All right. Let's do it. Alice. 3, 2, 1, 387. Yeah. No, what are you talking about? Alice, thank you so much. Thank you for getting vaccinated. I appreciate you. We celebrate every single shot and every single arm, guys. That's what we do. Because that's just good people. All right, guys. I am tired. I had fun. It was a good stream. I think we... Oh, it wasn't. Okay. Oh, that's right. Dude, user 139. Oh, Matt 420. Let's go. All right. 388. 3, 2, 1. Nice. 388. Matt 420. Thank you so much, man. That's it, guys. We did it. We're out. We're outro. I'm freaking sick. We got outro music. We got intro music. But the production value on this stream is off the chains. It's happening. Boom. See you tomorrow. Let's do this again tomorrow. See ya. Peace. Peace. Have a good one.